Welcome to the Unofficial Controller Podcast, your weekly gaming podcast, episode number 264. And if you've stuck around this long, I guess you're a glutton for punishment, so this episode's going to do you no harm at all. With me, George, and this week joined by RGT. Brew Daddy, to my more milk, please, mummy. How's it going?
Yeah, very well, thank you, mate.
You liked that, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
What about that did you like as much as you did?
Don't know, you caught me off guard a bit with that. I didn't think you were going to say more milk, mummy.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't want to mess around too much with show shenanigans, so I'm going to ask you how you are keeping. How you doing?
Yeah, really well.
Thank you once again for covering for me while I'm off gallivanting around the world promoting the podcast to a wider audience. I've found that deserted island in India that no one's allowed to go to. I framed up a YouTuber because he left to make it look like he left a can of Diet Coke and a coconut behind. But actually it was me. And I've deployed an MP3 player to their island, which they now assume is a god. And therefore, ergo, our voices are the voices of their gods. And they worship us now on that island. Sentinel Island.
Like your style. Yeah. Yes, Sentinel Island, like your style.
Don't mess about just getting listeners. Get believers. Get parishioners. That's what I'm saying.
Wow.
Right? Yeah.
The cult leader has risen straight to the top.
Listen, I'll kick the ass of anybody that comes near. When you're part of the UCP family, whether you're in the cheap seats or whether you're in your paid seats, I'll fight anybody that gets in the way of my family. I'll fight you, RGT. I'll tell you who I'll fight. I'll fight everybody. I don't give a rat's ass.
Have you had a brew dog again today, George? Or just?
I've literally had a suckle of mother's milk.
Makes you a bit aggressive, and leaves a little white moustache top of your lip.
You may see that as a white moustache. I see that as a little reminder of the special milk I can have in an hour or two. Okay? That's what that is. Stone Cold Steve Austin comes down, he drinks Steve Wise, he gets a beer moustache. I come down, threaten everybody, and end up with a milk moustache. It don't make me any... I love you, no, it don't make me any less... In my eyes... It doesn't make me any less of a man.
We hadn't had a start to a show like this for a few weeks. George is back.
Jaded George is back.
Jaded George is back.
We're on the end of season 5, and let's face it, season 5, we've been through the mill in season 5, if you think about it. I mean, we joined a cult.
Yep.
We managed to get out the cult without getting too crazy.
Wow.
So what have you been playing?
Anywho, yes. You could probably guess what the first game is that I've been playing.
Well, I've been at it for a little while, so I'd imagine with the new update to the rosters on Sociable Soccer and the new version coming out, which previous owners only had to pay a small upgrade fee. I actually think you're going to tell me that the Suffolk Harriers are now the third. Well, you're aiming for the top. They're the most popular. No, they're never going to be popular. They're the most successful team in the history of sociable soccer.
Wow. How long have you been off the show? Jeez.
Couple of years.
Yeah, I was going to say. No, I have been on more Xenoblade Chronicles X. So,
how does that fit canonally with the Warrior Princess version?
The Warrior Princess version?
Obviously, is this a prequel or is this a sequel to Xena Warrior Blade Princess?
Oh, no. Yeah. Prequel.
This is a prequel to that?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So tell me, how does Lucy Lawless fit into this this wonderful JRPG you're going to tell me all about, you handsome devil? By the way, I don't know whether it's that you've come dressed as me wearing the same headset, you know. And
I think you'll find I started wearing a headset. I think you've more sort of taken on my attire.
Well, imitation's the sincerest form of flattery.
Yeah, exactly.
So if I look like you, that was never the intention.
Fair play.
Mumsy, you better order me a new headset. Yeah, I know the one that OG Tom gave to me. Well, he didn't give it to me, did he? Let's face it. I saved it from his bin. Yeah. No, that's fine. Tell me about Xenoblade Chronicles then, you handsome devil.
Yeah, 42 hours in now.
You getting a divorce, or is Mrs. RGT okay with this?
Who?
Fine, that's answered both questions.
Yeah. Anyway, chapter 6. Yeah, just now starting chapter 6. Still really good. Still absolutely loving it. And I know what you're going to say. Have you got your scale yet? I'm just now at the stage where I can do.
Is that a Danish lager, or is that what you're calling the suit, the Gundam suit in this game?
Yeah,
they're called Skells.
Skells, yeah.
Sierra Kilo India Lima, Echo Lima, or as in SKEL, Skell, or
Skell, yeah.
That's how they spell it, like a skeleton.
Yeah, like an exoskeleton.
That's cool, by the way. I like that.
Yeah, he's quite cool. Yeah. So I'm now at the stage where I can do my license test to get the Skell. So that'll be my next part.
You've got to pass your driving test.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is full on, this game, mate. I tell you,
dude.
And the thing is, still impresses me with this game is the you've got your living area, which is like I said before in previous shows, NLA, which is New LA, and you got your suburbs, and it's not very big, but you got your little suburb, you got your main streets, coffee houses, shops. So one minute you'll be doing side missions because someone needs some leather from an animal to fashion some clothes. And the next minute you're out in the wide world fighting the greater cause, trying to find a lifehold. It's very good, very diverse, but very big and very good.
What good are these coffee houses, though? Can you go in them and get your character? You get a little cutscene of them drinking a coffee, or is it just filler?
It's just showing the living area, but you'll have people living in his cars driving around, and then you can go and you'll find missions and bits and people to talk to and learn about the area, what they've been up to, which is all part of. You have like areas where you can't think of the words to use, but you cover an area and you get a percentage of it complete by learning about the area. Doing side missions, you get affinity missions, which links you up to your crew by doing these affinity missions. But it's that. I mean, I have this big armor suit on. I mean, I look like an absolutely pumped up Power Ranger. So out in that alien world, I look perfect. But wandering around past a coffee house, it looks like a cosplay competition.
Could you not get changed?
You can, because the good thing you could do is you can upgrade your armor with either bits you find when you're in combat, or you can mine minerals and invest them minerals into these companies that will then make you better equipment, which you can then purchase. But you can also, because of that, you don't have to wear all these random bits so you look like really bad cosplay. You can then just have one style, so you can have what gear you look like and what gear you're actually wearing different, if that makes sense. So
I was gonna, if I may interject just briefly, I was gonna say I've been really liking, and I used it initially the most for the first time in a game in Horizon Forbidden West, where I liked Aloy running around in the clothes she wears on the box. To me, it feels more complete. But that's a very hard way of playing the game, because that's like the first armor you receive.
Yeah.
But what I do like is getting better armors, but then reskinning them to look like your basic armor.
Yeah, same thing. Yeah.
And that's what I've been doing that's what I had been doing in Valhalla, wearing that. Because some of the stuff they have in there is just ridiculous. You look like you say, you look like a cosplayer. Rather
and a bad one.
Yeah, terrible. Sort of guy's walking around with a box of lasagna on his shoulder, sort of driven. Badly poster painted, so you can still see the advert of you can still see the the maker of the said lasagna sheets on your shoulder. Yeah. Sorry, mate. I rudely interrupted, but I like to know about these armor sets.
Yeah, and so that's one way of upgrading it. And because when you go out to areas to open the map up, you will put probes in the ground, which open up certain areas. Yeah, easy, fella.
I found a wormhole,
and then you can set that. Change that probe to what you want it to be, like a mining probe or a research probe. And then once you link a few up, you can put a little storage probe in.
Any other probes you can buy? Anal, for instance, or is that off the cards?
Anyway, you can put mining probes and then you can put a storage one. Bill, edit that.
The PG era's gone. They came for that.
Well, that's destroyed for that. But yeah, and then
anally,
you'll then gain resources. Oh my God, I'm trying to explain this. You'll gain resources to then which you can then upgrade these companies, and then you can make better suits. At first, I'd probably say the first 20 hours of this game. Steady, son, you're going to choke on that. It's not the first time you've heard that. That's what she said.
No, no, it is actually. So let me just make sure this is recorded. I'll have that as my ringtone.
Anywho, the first 20 hours.
Hang on a minute. That's not the first time I've heard that. Therefore, I'm.
You know what I'm talking about.
It's totally fine.
So the first 20 hours of this game, that can look very overwhelming, and I felt quite overwhelmed with it. But once you learn all the strategic things you can do and to help and the combat, once it clicks, it's very, very good. Definitely my game of the year so far. It's going to take a lot to knock that game off game of the year, I think, so far.
Ooh, crikey. Well, you picked a good year for that to happen.
Exactly. That's probably the only thing I'll be playing.
Licenses, have you started those yet, or are you getting in okay?
No.
I'd love to know how they go.
I was saying more of I think it's literally they'll take you for a tour to fly around to learn you the controls, and that'll be bang, you can fly it sort of thing. And then there'll be mining resources to upgrade your skill and get better armor on that. But yeah, I'm absolutely loving it. I'm so confident in the combat now, whereas before that took me a long time to learn the combat. But Tingle Tune, I was talking to him a few weeks ago about Xenoblade, and he said once it clicks, the combat's very good, and he is right. The combat is fantastic.
Not only is he superbly handsome, and this is free because it's not in the support section. Not only is he devilishly handsome, but he knows his way around the inside of a JRPG in the same way that I know my way around the inside of a snack box.
Yeah, he knows his stuff. So I sort of put it out on the Discord a few weeks ago. Has anyone played Xenoblade? Really want to get into it, but I'm a bit worried about how in depth it is in combat. And he come back and sort of broke it down for me a bit in a few different ways. And I thought, So then when Xenoblade Chronicles X was announced, and I saw that more sort of Earth side rather than fantasy side, I thought in space, and I thought I fancy a bit of this, and yeah, I'm loving it, absolutely loving it. Nice. And I mean, I know most people get the skell after 20 hours, and I know I'm 42 hours in. I've done loads of side missions. I've been sort of statting myself up as I've gone, and just loving that world, really. Yeah, really good.
You see, because let me cast a dice here, because you've had me very tempted to Xenoblade up. And I did notice that Xenoblade Chronicles already has a Switch release.
Yep.
But it transpires these are two very different games. Yours is more of an MMORPG for one player's clone, and the other one is a proper story-led traditional JRPG. So I suppose what I'm most intrigued about is, do you think on completion of this you'll be dusting off the original Switch release of Xenoblade Chronicles? And 2 and 3 as well, because you can get the trilogy stroke quadrology now if you should. Yeah,
I've got the original, I've obviously got the original games, but I've got the Switch port of Xenoblade Chronicles, the first one, which I had tried a couple of times. That just didn't quite click. But I've got
very different in from what I've been, because you got me thinking. Well, if I'm going to play Xenoblade, I'm not going to half-arse it like RGT.
This isn't even a spin-off. This is just complete separate story. This is nothing to do with it, but it almost seems like they refined the mechanics and bits for this game. And then obviously with the remaster, the they've obviously took it that step further. There was certain things that they've made quality of life. I don't know what all they are, but there was one where I think when you changed your party round on the Wii U, you had to sort of go back to somewhere to change your party. Now you can change your party on the fly. They're all in your menu. There's all these quality of life things that have been added. And I love the story. I think that sort of alien war that we got caught up in, and you try and habitate a new planet. Yeah, it's really good. I'm really enjoying it. It's a hell of a feat as well to have that 12 gigs on the cartridge, and that's the whole game. That's impressive. Yes, you get a bit of pop in from characters, but the actual draw distance and the world running around that's quite a feat on the Switch, I think. Anyway, from sort of half and the original download size, or more than half and the original Wii U size, sort of compressing it and then adding to it, and then it's quite impressive. Because
Nice.
I also found out there's no download off that card either. That is the whole game on the card.
Not like these new Switch. We'll get to the Switch news.
Yeah.
If you've turned up for Switch 2 analysis, pricing analysis, and a professional deep dive on what we saw during the, I would call it now, fantastic Switch 2 preview show that we saw, or reveal show that we saw by Nintendo in the week gone that we're covering, things are going to change, RGT. So is there any other games you've been playing?
Just one more, which is The Curse of Ilmore Bay I've been playing, which is Evercade. That is on the Indie Heroes 4 collection, which I purchased. And this was a Mega Drive game released about 4 or 5 years ago. Really good. If you want that little Mega Drive buzz, the sound, everything is so Mega Drive. That music, brilliant.
You're bringing me back from the edge of what I thought was death.
No, and this is a sort of side-scrolling platformer. Basically, Ilmore Bay as Halloween. Typical old school sort of 90s game story. Halloween, everything's turned so it's permanently Halloween. There's a lot of ghouls and devils and bits and pieces about, and 3 statues, which are 3 characters you can pick from, get brought back to life. You can pick one, and then you go through this town, trying to complete the levels and ridding it of this horrible curse of permanent Halloween. Really good, great music, great controls. Really, really takes me back to Mega Drive. I mean, you can see that this was released for the Mega Drive 4 or 5 years ago. And yeah, it's just great fun. And also, I know I'm an old man now and I'm not very good at games, but it's so handy having that quick save feature on the Evercade, because that first level took me forever to do. So when I got that second level, quick save, got that, and I can carry on from. Yeah, so it's really good. But yes, it's a great little game. There's 4 or 5 other games on there I want to try. There's 11 on there in total, but just haven't got round to them with Xenoblade and show bits and pieces. But yeah, that's pretty much it. But if you have got an Evercade, definitely check out Indie Heroes 4. Really good cart, that. Really good. But what about you then, Georgie boy?
Well, let's get some business out of the way. I just want to, on air, thank you publicly for the carry. I've been ill. Don't panic, I'm okay. Although I do wonder sometimes. But I'm well enough to be back here anyway, and thank you for the carry while I was off.
No problem.
Scotty seems like he's primed up and round to come back. We've got Seb on the ready one as well, so hopefully we'll get you a rotation of the cast of the UCP, because you've probably a little bit.
Well, I would imagine most of the people are absolutely sick of my Suffolk tones, and I would imagine they're thinking, God, just bring some of the Americans in. Let's get rid of this guy. He's doing already.
Yeah, I thought you guys were premium.
You give us him.
We paid for the global franchise, and what we've ended up with is what feels like Jeffrey Hamilton's Gardener's World.
Wow.
Look, a lot of the women were into Jeff.
The face.
My mum and dad used to sit down for a bit of Gardener's World, but dad didn't take his eyes off mum. I tell you what, not the whole show. So, Hamilton was a bit of a love sword, if you ask me. So glad to see Scotty's back with us. Good to see Seb's back. And obviously, Playing again on the Discord, which is great. I mean, let's pull the rug back. They were just angling for a pay rise. They got it. They're back on the show. Sorted.
Yeah.
I tried the same technique, got nothing.
These footballers do it nowadays, don't they? Go on strike till they get the pay deal they want, and then they come back. So
I got nothing, so I came back.
Well, you've been sort of demoted to T-boy now, so you're at the lowest level, but you're working your way back. So
yeah, apologies. I think the jaded George persona, quite rightly, I'm being punished for it, but I'm doing it with bottom lip
sometimes
out.
You just have to learn the hard way, don't you? Sometimes, so at least you learn from your lesson, and we'll go from there.
Yes, sorry, Dad. You're right. So, what? What have I been
on a naughty step?
What have I been playing? Well, I'll tell you one thing the Switch is. If you're not feeling very well, it'll make you feel better pretty quickly. The Switch, it's light, so even if you're feeling weak, you can hold it pretty easy. I mean, I've had bigger number twos, to be fair. So the Switch weighs literally nothing in your hand. And I've been playing a lot of what is my feel-good game, which is Wrestling Empire. I mean, off air, I
you keep tempting me with this. You keep tempting me. Everyone knows who listens to the show. I am not into wrestling games whatsoever. But every time we have our off-air chats and phone calls, describing it and what's, I just think, Dickie's made a game here, and he has made a game.
Lincolnshire boy, so he's from Farmerton himself. And yeah, I was in the Federation. I wasn't World Wrestling Federation, call it what you like. Federation Online, as it's called on there. And it's like ISS Pro. It's who it is, but the name's slightly different. Dickie's been very clever. And so I got took to court by Stephanie McMahon because I hadn't been dropping the belt. I won in court. In the meantime, I'm still defending the belt. Got told to lose weight. Got told to do this. Got told to do that. Give me a pay cut. All sorts of stuff. It's the shenanigans of wrestling. And obviously, we know it's not real and you have to drop the belt to people. And I wasn't dropping the belt because no one I thought was worthy enough, so I got took to court again. And then got engineered out the franchise. And that was me playing as my version of John Cena, which was Jaded John.
I just love that as well, because normally a standard wrestling game, you would follow that route, and it would be you have to hand that belt in. But Dickie's give you that option. No. I'm not handing it back, and then you have to go to court. I mean, that's incredible.
Mate, I ended up unemployed and then going around doing job interviews to try and get in with another wrestling company. Yeah. You go back to wrestling school, which is basically unemployed, and then you have to go ask all the other bosses, and depending on where your career is at that point, it's whether you're going to get signed. And also, if you've got like a bad reputation, which you can get by not dropping the belt, other wrestlers will refuse to wrestle you. They'll be like, no, you're not a team player. You won't do what's good for the business. Therefore, I don't even want to fight you.
That's impressive.
It's all very good.
Made that game.
Dressed up in the most basic of forms. We've had Dickie on for an interview, and I implore you to check it out because he's not just made that; he's made other games that are also coming to the Switch as well, which is good news. Hard Times, which is a prison simulator, I do believe is getting a Switch release, so keep your eyes peeled. Since I've last been on air, I played a bit more Valhalla. I'll be honest with you, although I'm further than I've ever been on it and probably 20 hours from the end of the game, still 20 hours from the end of the game. And
so what you put in now, you must be 70, 80 hours now, aren't you?
Something like that. And I'm kind of just a bit... There's no way I could get the platinum, even not that I'm a platinum guy, but there'd be no way I'll be getting it for Valhalla, not unless I want them head inspecting. Our other co-host, Bobby, actually achieved it. I don't know how. He must have the patience of a saint. It's a fair play to him. But no, like the wrapping's off, and I'm well bored of it. I'm literally only playing it through an hour here, then an hour there now, just so I can. You don't run a marathon and stop 200 yards from the finish, do you? But maybe I'm going to. Like
it's really sort of over bloated, is it? And
I just don't know what it is. When you're just walking around, it's great, but there's no real life. It's a beautiful game. From the landscapes, the framing of it, some of the high point reveal locations where you look down on a settlement and the smoke is billowing out the chimney. I've been like, yeah, this is really beautiful. But then it's filled with the same Ubisoft dross. I'm on like the to maybe a level away from the penultimate place that you unlock, and it's like more of the same. At least the runtime in the early Assassin's Creed is like my personal favourite 3. There is a lot of that same stuff, but it's a little bit more respectful of your time. And I feel like these open world ones, and I know that Shadows is getting all the rave reviews and people are playing it and whatnot, but I see people suffering with the same problem. They're going to drop off before it's done. Although I've heard this is a lot shorter, so maybe they won't. But anyway, I'm not here to beat it up. If it's your cup of tea, it's your cup of tea. And let's face it, I've played enough Assassin's Creed to be a pretty cool hand on the tiller. And yeah, approach with patience, I would say. What else have I been playing? Oh yes. And I'm not going to labour on it, but the other thing that I've put an awful lot of time into again recently is my Farming Simulator 25 save I've got going on Oak Bridge Farms, it's now called, which was Galveston before. Same level, but just been renamed. Really good. Got a IH Pro drop on an International Harvester Pro model dropped on the Mod Hub. So I've got one of my classic IHs on the go. Not old enough for my liking, but at least it can pull a plough. A lot of the other ones I get them all latched up. They ain't got the horsepower to pull it. They just basically just pop a wheelie in, and yeah, probably takes 6 years to plough a field. So yeah, I might upgrade my 4 plough. And get maybe a bigger one. I could speed the process up, I suppose, but I choose to do it the way I do it, old school. And then other than that, I do believe that's really all I've been playing. I've been doing a lot of sniffing around on the Switch store and a lot of starting the games on there, but then just going straight back to Farming Simulator. Did a bit more of my F1 playthrough on the Switch. God knows what I'm playing it on there. Although it did have a patch and it does look slightly better. And I suppose it's the difference between a broken leg and a severely broken leg. I think that's the difference between the upgrade on F1. So it's only a broken leg now, not a severely broken leg. So
it's getting slightly better.
The texture's 30 seconds rather than a minute. So things are getting better. Although still some very strange looking creatures in that game to keep the
I bet they look like the aliens out of Xenoblade, don't they?
I mean, each time it loads up, it does a flyby of the circuit. And on the modern gen consoles, the crowd look great. On this, they're blatantly from FIFA 95. They are flat cutouts that aren't even. They haven't even wasted the effort on animating, which, to be fair, is probably a good thing.
You'd be back to a minute again.
It would be. Yeah. Do you want those guys moving, or do you want to play this game? You're right, Frontier. Yeah. I don't know what I was thinking. I just want to play the game. Then stop complaining. You're right. And I think that's really where I'm at. I'm kind of still hunting around for that game, but I've been spending more of my time because I last played Farming Simulator on Thursday. It's now Saturday at this point in recording, and I had a field to do. And even though I've bought an old combine, the only access to the other field that I've been working is through this gate. And I approached the gate as I started doing this field the other day. I thought I'll just measure up against this gate, and I thought, well, I'm not going to go through there with the header on. Fair enough, I'll get the header trailer. And now I don't think I'm going to get there through that even without the header trailer, even without the header on. So now I'm thinking, well, that whole field's done. What am I going to do? So I'm desperate to get back on there and find out whether I've wasted money on that field or not.
You can't make a wider opening or anything? Or
I suppose I could go into build mode, but I've never really bothered with that, so I don't know how to do it. I could probably go into build mode and delete the gate, but then you're messing with the primary level, which is totally cool in Farming Simulator, but... if I go down that route, I probably will remove all the fencing on that side, and then when I do plough the field, I'll plough the hedgerow in and make it all just one big field. That would actually have benefit. And if I'm doing that, I might pop the gate down on the roadside so you can just get access. How? Oh my!
If you're still listening.
If you're still listening, you came for Switch news, don't panic, because that's where we are. Switch. So we had what I would call in this past week one hell of a reveal, really, and a deep dive on what is Nintendo Switch 2. So to kick off with, they slapped us straight up the side of the face with the premium title that they're leading with, the exclusive for the Switch 2, which is Mario Kart World. Some changes that we saw there take place is time and day and weather changes, and thanks to our resident Switch guru Scott for the notes. If you want to have a look at the notes that he captured, feel free to jump on the Discord and have a look. The free roam mode, the knockout tour mode, and obviously that concluded with the April 17th and a deeper dive promised with the Mario Kart World Direct on that date. So RGT, straight out the gates, I want to say, I was excited for this showcase. I knew there'd be an element of Ninty first party in there, and this was obviously one of them. The extra horsepower has not been wasted by Ninty. Some of the level of animation detail and the clarity of the image that was on display was, for my own humble eyes, very impressive. And listen, I know that Switch 2 is not going to be scaring a Series X, a Steam Deck, or a PS5 anytime soon, but the form factor is very appealing, and we'll get to the form factor later on as we talk. But certainly, this game specifically looked great. And the free roam element as well, RGT, specifically Mario Kart World, what was your sort of takeaway from that?
Yeah, quite excited. I love dipping back into Mario Kart on the Switch. So to have one not open world as such, but where you can drive between races and bits,
yeah,
that's quite appealing. I think that they do small steps with the Mario Kart games, and I think they've done it again. They just keep taking that little bit extra, a little bit more. Yeah, I'm quite excited for that. I love sitting down and having a
I was a bit nervous
Mario Kart
initially on the fact that, hang on a minute, what about the cups here? What's happened? But then they showed the map with the cups and how they're located in one geographic region, and then and then, as you say, free roam, but not, well, free roam from my understanding it is. You and all your mates then tear off around doing what the hell you like, and then when you're ready, you all arrive at the next circuit, which I was impressed by. It gives you that Forza Horizon element, which will broaden Mario Kart's appeal.
Definitely.
It gives you the ability to continue having fun on the completion of the race and possibly race to the next circuit as well, which adds another layer of playability. It adds another level of shenanigans on the way. I'd imagine it gives you another level of secret finding with your friends on the way. And then the multiplayer elements. RGT, were you kind of binded by those? Impressed?
Yeah, I think so. And I mean, obviously added in with what we'll get to later in the showcase with the new bits and camera and stuff. I think it's yes, gimmicky, but in a way, again, it's that little bit more. You know, you can't keep making the same Mario Kart game.
Because for a while, since the Switch 2's case was 3D printed and shared online for weird nerds like us to debate about for hours and no doubt make several hours of YouTube content for the plebeians to watch. But it's true, and it's how YouTubers make the money. And again, as a side topic, we've talked about the sort of harsh reaction to some of the things that are on site. And I always say to you, RGT, be nervous of negative opinion on YouTube because bad news sells. No one would click on a video that said Switch 2 best thing ever.
No, and most negative videos I've seen at the end of the video, 90% of them say, "Oh, I'll still be purchasing a Nintendo Switch 2."
Oh, but so we got a click out of you, and then right at the end, so if you've given us all this time, the full disrespect is the up yours and buying it anyway.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's I don't tend to go too much. I mean, all consoles generate a certain amount, especially new ones, negativity, positivity. People pick holes in stuff where they shouldn't be doing this, they shouldn't be doing that. Fine, don't buy it then. But I think you have to take it from your own face value, look at it yourself, and just think, what did I think of this? I personally, I think as a whole, I was very impressed with
me
Switch
too.
2.
I'm not even going to hide it. I thought it was incredible.
I didn't think they would go to the lengths they've gone with. Obviously, we'll get to that, but with power, graphics, games as well. I didn't think they'd go as far as that. A lot of people are saying there's been hell and all hate for the price, and I think, well, actually, for what you're getting, I'm surprised you think that's expensive. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I thought it would have been more than what it was.
I have been saying it would be $499 and you'd be happy with it, right? And I think
I said $450. So
yeah, I feel like $499 would have been a great place to put yourself with the pack in. The fact that you're getting it for less than that, I think, is very generous. Let's face it, it's a hell of a lot more than the console that doesn't cost that much less in terms of the OLED. So simmer the hell down, and if you want this, buy it. If you don't, save up or never buy one. It's totally cool with me. But yeah, I came away impressed. Let's face it, I wasn't first in the door with a Switch 1. Far from it. I mean, I had one kicking around, but did I play on it? No. Kids absorbed it, quite rightly. But then when I got my chance, I've thoroughly loved my time with it. I've always had a soft spot for Ninty. It was technically my first ever console. So there's always been that little bit of Disney-esque love for some of the characters and things. But as I've got older, I've noticed that, well, as I got older, I noticed that the games were kind of drifting. And it was always a compromise on the Nintendo product. But not, I really feel, anymore. Let's keep it moving, obviously, in our forensic-like destruction of what we saw. The next thing, a note that came up, RGT, going back to what I was originally saying, obviously, when nerds like us debated for hours, took us down the YouTube rabbit hole. Nerds like us debated for hours the plastic 3D printed version of the Switch 2 they got their hands on. There was this infamous C button. And what the hell's that all about? Well, actually, classic Nintendo. For me, it's going to stand for chat, game chat, or camera. And that's exactly what it stands for. So it's the new game chat, but also game chat with vision. Now, just to mix things out of order a little bit, because I feel it's right to cover this here, obviously, you can get yourself, as with most of the manufacturers these days, you can get yourself basically a webcam. This time for the Switch. I never thought they'd do it because you're on about keeping your kids safe. Then you got someone like RGT sprawled out showing you his cheese board. What I would say is, don't go with the grapes. RGT, I thought quite brave of Nintendo.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Said cheese board.
Yeah, for a company that was quite against chat full stop on the Switch, and then made a sort of half-assed attempt with this mobile app that you try and connect.
If you're a bigger boy playing there with your bigger boy friends, playing it on the screen while also chatting through your mobile, I'm sorry, Nintendo. I need to give you abuse where you deserve it. If you thought that was a fix, you're an idiot.
Most people who have played, I mean, when we've played Mario Kart from the Discord with the guys, just jump on Discord and do it. Do you know what I mean? Because you just, you know. But anyway.
Well, I think what they noticed is we're losing people to other ecosystems. Now they can keep it safe. They've had plenty of time to think about it while also letting bigger boys talk to bigger boys. But
I didn't think they would, same again, this seems out of character for Nintendo. They haven't just maybe made that app a little bit better or made the app on the Switch too herself. They've actually gone full in. You know, they've got game chat, they've got camera, they've got a button for, you know, it seems a big
and
leap
screen
from
share as well, which it wasn't really highlighted in the episode, but to me it felt like 5 friends could sit down all playing different games while chatting to each other while sharing screens.
The only thing, if you watch that footage, is I think it's the guy or the lady is playing the game, and then they got their four friends in the bottom with their games being shown. But their games being shown were running at about 3 frames per second. And I was thinking, who edited this footage to show that looked pretty shocking. I mean, so I know you're going to be I know you're going to be looking at your own screen, and you're trying to run 4 screens at once. But even so, I'm thinking, will there be an issue there with connectivity? Is it going to struggle? Is it going to chug a bit with that?
Well, let's talk about the camera, because I've got some good news for you, because obviously you weren't too keen on that kind of weird-looking lamp from the 70s with the camera lobbed on the top of it.
Yeah.
I mean, aesthetically, to me, it kept it simple, which I think Nintendo are quite good at. But to anyone out there going, well, I don't want that, it's hideous. Knowing gamers the way I know gamers, you're all going to go absolutely nuts for the horror camera that looks like a piranha plant.
Yeah. It's a weird looking camera because it's quite tall, so you can't really have it in front of your TV. So, it's a strange sort of
Maybe
look
it's
of
that tall so you can put it behind your TV and extend it up so just the top of the camera peeks across the top of your television.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. I mean,
We need to find out more. But
it's got that sort of face that locks on your face, doesn't it? That sort of technology where it just shows your face in the image rather than the background. So maybe it doesn't have to be in front or behind the telly, long as it's got a clear image of your face. I suppose that'll
like I say, to those that are slightly concerned, don't worry. You can have a horror one that looks like a piranha plant, and you can also put that next to that Joy-Con charger you got off Etsy that looks like a piranha plant. You know you did. You know you did. So now you can have one either side of your telly. Both functional as Switch accessories. Can't be bad, can it? Before we dive into the Switch itself, there's obviously been some talk prior to the Switch 2 reveal about the game share feature, where I could march up to RGT, tap a button on my Switch 1, and give him a game for a couple of days. Actually, quite a couple of weeks, even more generous. How cool is that? I know there's people going to come in the chat, and I encourage it, that's going to say, well, behind the scenes, it's this, it's that, it's the other. Here's what it is. It's another step towards digital ecosystem. I know, but at least they're trying to be a bit inclusive.
Where it makes sense to me, I know me and Mrs. RGT got separate accounts. If I'm playing a game, she likes the look of it. Here we go, try it for 2 weeks. Here you get on, brilliant. For me, that's that primary, secondary switch, which is the issue. Me and Tingle Tune have been talking about it. Firm Return's been talking about it in Discord. Obviously, if you don't know and you're listening, you haven't got a Switch, you have your primary Switch. If you've got a secondary one, you can only play your digital games while online. If you're out and about and you're not got Wi-Fi, you can only play your card games, physical games. So now, obviously, with Game Share, you can then drop that game onto your secondary Switch, which you take out with you, and you can play that game, which to me, it's long overdue, but yes, thank you for that. I can now keep the OLED at home, take the Switch Lite out with me, drop the game over. Superb, brilliant. I'm chuffed with that.
So we're all chuffed with that.
Mm-hmm.
Right, let's get into the meat and the veg. I'll get it out RGT, so you don't need to. So, Switch specs, darling. Specs confirmed. So same thickness, but bigger screen. Now, one of the form factors to me, I know if Seb was here, he'd be jumping up and down saying, you guys are crazy, why are you not buying a Steam Deck? Well, carrying a Steam Deck around, I know some friends in the Discord have got them as well. Carrying that around to me is like carrying a VHS case around when you only need to carry a CD case around. The Steam Deck needs to go on a diet, quick, to even make me have even slight interest to it. I know you've got the full Steam library, but, and this is me all over, form over function.
No, I'm with you a bit on that. I mean, if I'm on a train or heading out or meeting some guys in Norwich, I can't imagine taking a Steam Deck. I'm even a bit...
I can't imagine
with me OLED.
Someone of our parents' generation not looking at someone on a Steam Deck and going, oh, he's got that thing that Johnny had when he was a kid, the old Atari Game Gear links. Yeah, look at him. No one's thinking that with a Switch, but people will be thinking that with the Steam Deck. No
Yeah.
offense, dry your eyes. It's all right. I still love you. And I would use a Steam Deck, I'm sure, but I just can't see me getting on board with that hulking mass. But the Switch 2 comes in with that same tablet-like form, which is great. Same thickness, but bigger screen. Boasting 1080p, LCD HDR this time around, with the ability to reach the lofty heights of 120 FPS. How many games will end up with that? Who knows? It may end up just being the SNES version of Mario World that you've probably paid 20 quid for an upgrade for. Yes, I'm coming in with my barbs out. No, I don't care. So I'm not overly attached to the 120 FPS. I feel it a little bit marketing hype, but
It probably is. It's not, if it can do it.
it's nice to know it's got the ability to do it. Absolutely, yeah. And 1080p on a handheld, I know from my Portal experience, I'll be honest with you, it's more than enough. Add in HDR, and we've come a long way. Now, RGT and I had a bit of a chat off air about whether the LCD would feel like a downgrade compared to his OLED. And I'm going to say to everyone listening now, and to you again, RGT, if you think LCD technology has stood still, you're crazy. It's come along a long way. The Portal screen being a great example of what a modern LCD can look like. Throw in the ability to do HDR, and this thing is going to look like you've got the universe in the palm of your hand, as far as I'm concerned. But interested to see what people are making that going forward. I did a little bit of a dig around on the wider internet to see if there was any more feedback on the screen. None really, but I did see a few people maybe kind of agreeing with my point that I've made to you, RGT, about I think once you get hands-on with this thing, any fears that you've got that it's not a OLED will be gone, which is great news.
And also, I think you said the right thing. I mean, I was watching a couple of the YouTubers watching it live, the direct, and they were saying, oh my God, why have they gone back to an LCD, not kept with an OLED? And you summed it up brilliantly, because it will be the mid-gen refresh model.
It'll be the mid-gen refresh, but may I just put it on air now? Ninty hate the OLED because they make less money on it. So, and doing one straight out the gates gives them no upgrade path. Ninty aren't too keen on changing internals, so any mid-gen refresh of the console would involve then ergo squeezing in more RAM, which means that the product's not very kid-friendly, because then you've got to ask Johnny which version he's got at the counter and whether he's going to see the graphical upgrades or not. It's all very confusing. One of the joys I find about console playing is you slap it in and you go. As soon as you start doing C:\\, I flip my chair over and I've walked out the room. I want to sit down and have fun. I don't want to feel like I'm in war games. I don't want to feel like Matthew Broderick hacking the US mainframe. I just want to sit down, pick up a controller, and play a video game.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
I'm very ranty today, aren't I? I guess this is how you establish yourself as an internet persona.
You had a break, you've come back, you're taking no prisoners.
I'll need another month off after this. Joy-Con 2. All right. I've got some questions about this, but let's face it, this time around, your Joy-Con rail's going to have a lot easier time because it's all done with magnets. Can I see this being stuck on fridges? Yeah. Got
a pair of ears. Joy-Con on either side of your fridge. A pair of ears.
Absolutely. Oh, my fridge is Prince Charles TikTok. Oh, God. You know, the first time I saw it was hilarious, but 10 years on from the Switch 2's launch, do yourself a favour. Get a better gimmick. The thing I want to dwell on about the Joy-Cons, and one for me, one of the biggest drawbacks of the Switch 1, and hopefully won't be copied into the Switch 2, but I haven't seen any of this explained or clarified. Now, they've made the SL and SR buttons bigger for horizontal play. They've made the left and right sticks larger. They've even allowed you, classic Nintendo, to flip the Joy-Con on its side and use it as a mouse. Wonderful. Interesting idea, but wonderful. Built-in microphone, 3D audio for headphones, new adjustable angle stand, 2 USB-C ports, one at the top, one at the bottom. Have to play one of my biggest gripes of playing Switch is that wire coming up from the bottom, especially if you want to play it in tabletop mode. You're done. Unless you like RGT, you want to go out and basically get something that looks like you've won out of a cracker. Don't say that about me Hori Zelda stand. RGT, do you know what? It looks beautiful.
George, don't say that about my Hori Zelda stand.
I'm going to say it. All
Solved
right?
a problem. It solved a problem.
It solved a problem
For
that
less
didn't
than
need
a
to be
posh
there.
coffee. So
Fine. That's one hell of a posh coffee you've had. You're right. It solves a problem. It's a wonderful piece of kit. Fair play to Horry. Fair play to you. I wasn't besmirching your firstborn child. I was besmirching your Horry stand. Okay. When you're carrying around something in your pocket that looks like you've pulled out the cup holder from a low rent South Korean motor, you got a problem. Okay, you've got a problem. So this top one, I'm all for it. All of a sudden, you don't need to spend the price of a posh coffee to play your game on a train for longer than 10 minutes. Now, we're talking my language, okay? And the flexibility that gives you as well, RGT, is incredible, right? So I'm all for it. Although don't get too excited because one of them's probably for sticking the Switch 2 camera into. Although if you're taking that on a train,
surely, Dad, I don't understand why you wouldn't plug that in the dock. They're showing you to put it in the top, which looks hideous at home. You'd want that in the dock, wouldn't you? Really, but maybe you can. I might be wrong. Maybe you can.
Maybe you can. 32 gigabyte was what the Switch 1 had, but went out to 256 gigabytes of internal storage. So that's great news. No real talk about whether that Switch storage is going to be used in the same way that the modern consoles are utilizing that. I guess we're going to get Digital Foundry is going to have to make this make sense to us. They're probably going to tear one apart day one. We're just desperate to get it, and they're taking a tri-wing screwdriver to it because it's a Nintendo, obviously. The 4K resolution from the dock to TV includes HDR. Well, it better had. Switch 2 dock's now got a cooling fan in it, which is awesome news, and confirmed backwards compatibility with its predecessor. Now, I love all that we've talked about, and we'll pick up on any of that you want to talk about as well, RGT. But two or three things that I want to cover off. The Switch was great, but it didn't have analog triggers. So if you were playing a driving game or Snow Runner, for instance, or Farming Simulator, Father, Son, Holy Ghost, if you're playing that, it was on or off for the speed.
Yeah,
it was like bim, 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 bim. It was awful. It was diabolical. Please tell me, although if they'd done it, you would think it would be a sales part of the sales pitch. And if it was confirmed, let me know so I could sleep tonight, that they've given us the ability to analog those buttons underneath so we can play racing games and we can do this, that, and the other. Without it, that's another retrograde step in my eyes, RGT. What's your thoughts?
No, I'm with you on that. Especially, they weren't short of racing games on the Switch either,
No.
so that's...
And actually some capable ones, because Wreckfest not only looked good, but played well.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for that bloody button.
Yeah, just to have that bit more sensitivity so you can, throttle on and off at a more gradual pace rather than flat out none. And even in Snow Runner, where you really need to be careful to throttle, it's just frustrating.
Mate, I'll be honest with you. If my Snow Runner save was a real world environment, they would think I was having some form of a fit, like a guy who was susceptible to that walking into the strobe light factory. And I tell you what, beep, 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 beep. Sound like a kid doing a motorbike impression around secondary school. It wasn't cool.
No. So yeah, I'm hoping that. I also did watch Mr. Who's the Boss, who's a big YouTuber. He got done a video hands-on on it. I was a bit worried about the magnets on the Joy-Cons. I didn't know how sturdy they'd be. I don't think we've got to worry. They lock in. They got a little circuit board, stick out, which they clip into as well. And they were pretty solid on there. So I don't think we've got to worry too much about that. And even the mouse mode was pretty capable. They were playing Cyberpunk with the mouse and a Joy-Con.
Yeah.
Looked decent. Looked very decent. So, and he also said you'd have to have it on a smooth flat table, but they were doing it on their legs and on a board.
Yeah, no, just so there's some extra griff on that. I think Nintendo themselves have made it quite clear that you need a suitable flat surface if you're using your trousers, you're probably going to start to struggle. It looked like it was totally capable, don't get me wrong, and I'm not here to knock it, but, they made it quite clear.
The only thing
trousers on bare minimum, so...
Yeah. The only thing with that, you're turning a Joy-Con on a side and vigorously rubbing it on a table. I mean, are you going to start taking the paint or plastic off that? After a while,
Listen,
it is going to wear.
Without a doubt, everything's built, sadly, not everything's built out of titanium on the Switch 2. So if you're rubbing that around on your desk all day without a suitable mouse mat, yeah, you're going to rub it through. So be prepared, much like the previous Switch, to have a very nice relationship with your local game store, because you're going to be going through Joy-Cons like I go through teeth.
If you're going to play it using mouse controls, then go easy on your rubbing.
Also, 3D
sounded better in my head.
I'll be honest with you. I was into it. You've probably alienated us from half the demographic.
Okay. Sorry.
Actually, who am I kidding? You've just appealed to every single person that we look to appeal to. 3D audio for headphones. Wow, great. 3D audio is game-changing, but Switch lacked any form of surround sound output at all, even docked, which to me was a bit of a shame. I know maybe a couple of games, or a handful of games maybe support it, but the amount of rigmarole you got to put yourself through.
Yeah, a bit of an oversight, that.
Digital surround sound, just support it. And I'm hoping maybe some of these bigger ports will kind of encourage them to allow you to have, because if you want to run this like your big boy console when it's docked, well, you're going to want it into a home cinema system, aren't you? Surely. So we don't all have sound bars. Give us the option, please. I remember when I first got my N64, it had surround sound. The first SNES made a big do out of stereo. So why have we now dropped it like a hot stone, Ninty? Come on. Think of how more encompassing your worlds could be. I'm hoping, and this is what I wanted to say, I'm hoping with the coverage for 3D audio for the headphones might see us leaning towards, because the Switch 2 is made for gamers who are rather kids or grown gamers that are hiding from their missus. But when she goes out, you might want to dock it and have a surround sound experience. So go for it.
Yeah, especially if for gamers that have already got the other two consoles running through, if you can put your Switch dock through it as well, why not? It'd be brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely agree. Any technical elements in there that you wanted to cover off?
I mean, we're getting 256 gig, which is a huge improvement on the original Switch, but I think the games are going to be a lot bigger as well. So I can see that filling up quicker than what everyone's thinking. I think everyone's thinking we'll never need to put anything else in this. You will do, but I think I got for the Switch 1 a 256 gigabyte card, and I have filled that. But there are a lot of games on it. Yeah, and you've got to remember these new games, Cyberpunk, bits and pieces like this. They're gonna be big gigs on there.
I think if you're going to be lobbing stuff around like that, go grab yourself, an SD card, one of those new micro SDs.
Yeah.
If you're going to play it like that,
stick a terabyte in, something like that.
If you're getting it for a kid, at least you don't have to buy the extra memory card. If you're getting it for yourself, big boy pro gamer, and you're getting a Switch 2, okay, mate, fair enough. Well, get an SD card, you can afford it. Okay. Yeah. And if you can't afford it, 256 gigs at least going to get you to Christmas when you can get Mumsy to buy you a little SD card, right? Go with it. 4K dock, the cooling fan. I found the passive cooling on the Switch a little bit kind of odd, if I'm honest with you. I always convinced myself that plastic dock was wasting a hell of a lot of real estate by not putting a fan in itself.
Strange that, isn't it?
Yeah. So you
it feels. I mean, my OLED dock with the different sort of back and everything on is light as a feather. There's not a lot in there.
Yeah, and they could have when it's docked, they could have disengaged the fan in the console or had that running at a different speed, and then also blown air through it from the dock. I guess that we aren't engineering gurus, so we probably don't fully understand the decisions that have been made.
Do they ever overheat? No. So did they need it? I don't know, but
I suppose that's the argument. But I guess if you had a blown dock from the get-go, you maybe could have allowed it, because don't forget, the Switch even docked is still throttled back on what it could do if you pushed it. So if that dock had had a fan in it, they could have got away with some extra upgrades on those dock games. Literally, if it, on Switch One, if it's not docked, you're not getting the upgrade. If you're docked, and that dock was, if they'd released Switch One with a fan in that dock, they could have literally ran that 100%. But again, what do I know? That probably would have melted it regardless. So very impressed with the tech, very impressed with the Joy-Cons, very impressed with the magnet release, very impressed with the screen, very impressed with the 4K resolution with HDR support on the TV, very impressed with the internal memory upgrade, very impressed with the inclusion of the USB-C port, so RGT doesn't need to spend any more on posh coffees and ripping the cup holder out of a Kia Sedona, which is great news. And then getting Mrs. RGT to paint the gold Zelda logo on it so he can have it as part of his setup. Fair play. Horry make one very similar if you just want to buy that. Can transfer your Switch data to the Switch 2. The old SD cards aren't going to work, so you're going to need to buy the newer, faster cards. But RGT, this is all part of giving you a better experience, right?
Yeah, it's not, it's not just put there to make money at the end of the day. You'll be buying third-party cards. If you want more power, you need to have, you're going to need the proper equipment to do it at the end of the day. So, yeah.
I'm not ashamed to admit that when I got my Switch two years ago, maybe now 3 years ago, whenever it was, and I got it from a beloved member of the Discord, Finchy, and this is what you're missing out if you're not on the Discord. Some great people doing some very nice, generous deals on games and consoles. Not that it's a selling place, but if you're a friend and you're in the team, that's one of the things you get to take advantage of, I guess. I was a mug and I bought a Nintendo branded SD card RGT. I learnt my lesson when I filled it up within a day, and then I went and bought a proper big boys one off of Amazon, and I don't regret it one bit.
No.
And for the same price, I was getting 8 times the storage.
Yeah. It's just a one-off, especially with a Switch One. It's a one-off purchase. You chuck that in, you're good to go. And stick your games, especially if you're into your digital gaming. Yeah, it's ideal. And you've got them all in one place, all on there, plenty of storage.
And I'm going to go there. I am getting more into the idea of all digital as the day goes on. And I like to stack up blue boxes that I've bought so I can show people that I'm a real gamer because I've got more blue boxes than other people. I've actually started to enjoy the freedom. Now, this is basically because I still haven't managed to find a disc drive from a Pro. But I've got an awful lot of digital games on the Switch. And what I love about it is I just press go.
Yeah, I love my physical gaming, obviously. I try and buy as many games on the Switch physical as I can, but me and you, when that sale comes on, we're swapping data and saying, oh, you said this is on there, and I've got an awful lot of digital games on my Switch. For someone I'm not really into digital gaming, it's something about the Switch where it's just, so handy to have them on there. And that's why I love this new game card thing, where obviously the problem was before, if you take your secondary Switch, you can't play them, but now you can drop one or two of them on.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah. I used to carry my Switch around in its carry case with some games in the case itself, and then 2 Mario block things that I'd bought that contain, I don't know, maybe 20 game cards, right? And I'd carry them around, like, got my setup, proper nerd, probably wearing a Mario t-shirt, a Mario hat, Mario headphones, like, walking around with this little setup.
When you'd claimed all your Mario points.
And that, yeah, although one bone of contention is they've moved to some weird authorization technique on that account now, and I've got loads of points I could be using to buy Pikmin tea towels, and yet when I go to confirm my account, it says it's sending one to my email, it never comes through, because you need to get into your Nintendo account to confirm that's still your email address, but you can't get into your Nintendo account because every time they send you an email with a 2-factor authentication on it, it's the email that doesn't work, that won't send, because you need to confirm it.
Ooh.
So I said, what shenanigans is this, Ninty? Make it easy, because I could literally be a 13-year-old kid.
And them
you're
points are
robbing
going
from-
as well, aren't they?
Exactly. And I want to buy more tea towels. So get on with it. I don't know what you got to sort. It's going to involve me ringing Nintendo helpline, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're probably going on to some absolutely ridiculous AI bot who I then go round in circles with for a half hour before it actually gives me the phone number.
I want video evidence of you having a small breakdown screaming because you can't get your Pikmin tea towels.
No one wants to see that.
I do.
Well, I've already had it off air and it wasn't pleasant, so I don't really want to do a video and upload it for everyone to see on YouTube.
Yeah, but you trying to get your Pikmin tea towels would be fairly hilarious.
Luckily, I've already got that, but they've released some stuff and I don't have that, and I want it.
Oh, no. I need it in my collection.
What's wrong with
Mumsy?
you? I'm not allowed to collect the black plastic things anymore and stack them up on each other to prove my gaming prowess. I now need to buy towels and key rings. For free. So let me. I played Mario Run, for God's sake. I deserve something for that. Exactly.
Yeah.
And they're all going to go. I played your stupid Animal Crossing mobile game as well. What have I got for it? Nothing. No wonder you need to give those points away to get people on your mobile games. Just make them better or give up. It looks like they've given up RGT, so it's good news for all gamers. New Pro Controller.
Yes. Yeah.
What do you make of that? Although confirmed, your OG Pro Controller will work for all your Legacy 1 Switch games.
Mm-hmm.
But there is some doubt it will be supported on. I think you can use it, but if there's any Switch 2 functionality like the camera button, you're not going to be able to use it. Although, if there's ever going to be a button on the Switch 2 that gathers dust, it's going to be the C button.
Yeah. It's got a headphone jack as well, hasn't it, which is good. That's going to be a nice
excellent
little touch.
news.
And I got a Pro Controller for the Switch. I love it. I think it's a brilliant controller.
I haven't touched mine in months. Still fully charged.
My God, yeah, because I play on the big screen most of the time. I very rarely play handheld. So, yeah, Pro Controller, brilliant. Looks nice. I mean, do they need to change it too much? Probably not. What I say, they've added that extra button. They've added that headphone jack. You know, are they going to go down the route with Sony and have all these full haptics and everything? No, they're not.
Well, I suppose they kind of are down that route because we've got HD Rumble now, haven't we? We've got high definition Rumble. I don't know if that was ever properly utilised in the first place, and I do actually feel like maybe PlayStation have kind of stolen the charge in terms of haptic feedback for controllers. I think it's a shame because Nintendo came out the gates telling you can actually tell how many ice cubes are in your drink when you play that game and swirl your Joy-Con round. And to be fair, it's impressive.
Yeah,
it's impressive. Good. But outside of those tech demo games, we didn't really get the standard functionality appreciably imparted into any gaming experiences, in my humble opinion.
No.
And that for me is a shame.
Yeah, without a doubt.
And if this HD Rumble doesn't really do much either, one wonders if standard Rumble ain't enough Nintendo, and you can save yourself 30 quid a machine.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have something utilised. I mean, if you're lucky enough to be in a position we are, where you own the big three anyway, and you play your PlayStation, when you go back to another controller, you do notice that missing. I noticed from playing, although nowhere near the game, you play the Crew on the PS5, feels brilliant. The gear changes coming through the controller, the vibrations, the triggers feel really good. Then you play Forza Horizon 5 on your Series X or your Series S, and it's just a controller. It's very... it doesn't connect with you. I know it is a controller. Some people might not like that, but each to your own. But it does feel like there's something missing there, and
it's that. I think I'll describe it more of in Horizon Forbidden West, in the Horizon 1 remaster or remake, whatever it is, I think, insert own opinions here, they give you that feeling, and even the Gran Turismo on controller, which I know is sacrilege to play it that way, but it gives you that crunchiness, as you described.
It adds to battles. It adds to driving experience because you think of part of it in just the graphics, in just you screeching the tyres through the speakers, you then feel the tyres go. You feel the brakes. You feel the juddering if you're hard braking through the triggers. It really does add to it.
It's one of those things that you only notice when it's not there, but when it's there, you don't really appreciate it. But when you play all of them, it's something that you take away and think, now it's not here. I notice it's not with me. Takes a little bit of adjustment time, you're fine. One thing I would say about the Switch One and the HD Rumble is, even when you've got your Joy-Cons attached to the screen, it gives a real positive rumble that kind of makes you feel like you're not playing it in a secondary mode when you've got it handheld. Hopefully that continues, because the whole unit vibrates at that point, and it gives it that sort of solid, grounded feeling you're looking for when you're gaming on the go.
Yeah.
Can't knock it at all. If you want to check any of this information, don't forget the new Switch 2 website launched last week, so you'll be able to go in there and check some of the finer details for yourself. And more importantly, before we get into the games, girls, guns, before we get into the games, Switch 2 launches June 5th. Great news, RGT. Plenty of time for people to start scrabbling around and putting it on their Christmas list. Should we talk about pre-orders? Because we're a worldwide show, and obviously the pre-orders in America with the trumps that tariffs doing, right or wrong, as you see them right now, we're not a political show. They're a matter of fact, so we're going to have to deal with them for what they are. Japan, obviously hurt by these tariffs, which has caused them to pause and now give up on the pre-order process in the States.
I think they'd moved their production to Vietnam on prediction of tariffs a while ago, and now Vietnam has been hit with the tariffs, so it's actually backfired a bit. So
it was a no-win situation. They tried, right?
Yes. So they tried. So a few websites I've seen are predicting that the $450 is going to be closer to $600 for the Switch 2 in America to counteract the cost of tariffs. Whether that's right or not, as of recording, that's only a rumor, so we don't know. But if it is, and you'll let us know if you're stateside, let us know if you've heard anything. But yeah, that's going to be crazy if it is.
The one thing that makes me laugh about the modern world is, in a bid to protect shareholders, the end user gets charged the full tariff divided by however many things they've imported.
It's just crazy.
It's just passed on. Oh, just pass it on to the consumer.
Yeah,
that's great. So you can report the same profit, so we get wounded, but we're the loyal customer, and they've only invested in your business to extract money out of it. There's something wrong about that whole protect the shareholder, screw the customer scenario that's starting to wear me down in the modern era. Because the shareholders are only happy when the customers are sticking around. Admittedly, we're all mugs and we all pay probably over the odds for these things, either which way, and the prices keep going up. Bear in mind, inflation tells a very interesting story on video games. In fact, they've only come down. You go on Reddit and there's a wash of Argos adverts from 1995 where games are 100 quid, 80 quid already, even then. So they've come down and now they're back where they were 20 years ago. And we're still moaning they're too much. I'll always moan that they're probably too much, but are they a fair representation of what you're getting these days? Probably.
Yeah, exactly.
On a smiles per hour basis, absolutely. Will you still be playing Mario Kart World when the Switch 3 is about to be announced? Yeah, of course you will be. At that point, what's it cost you? Not that much. I know the initial pain is painful. That's one of the sad parts about this hobby, RGT. It's expensive.
Yes, it is very expensive.
But it can also be done very affordably as well.
Yeah.
No one's saying that you need to get your enjoyment out of Mario Kart World, you need to be there the day it launches, June the 5th. That's your happiness on December the 25th is redundant because you're only just playing it. No. The good thing about these things is the magic seal's in the box. You can open it any time.
Yeah, definitely.
So don't rush.
No, and also,
especially
like I say,
if you can't afford it. Don't do that, guys.
No, and especially how it's being done in the UK as well. It is a mishmash and a bit of a mess. It wasn't supposed to be available to pre-order till the 9th of April, I believe, as of recording this. Argos jumped the gun. And as we were discussing, then you had to pay for your pre-order in full, even though the console's not being released till June, which is okay. I hope you get the numbers that you're saying you're getting. On top of that, then Smith's Toys thought, well, we better jump the gun and do it as well. I had a registered one, which I've had for months in with Currys, who then emailed me and said, you're free now to pre-order your console. Great. Went to pre-order it. No online sales on Currys, and there will be no online sales with Currys. It is in-store only, which for me, I'm 40 minutes from Currys, 2 Curry stores either side of me. So I'd have to go into store, speak to a employee to then pre-order my console, which then I will have to go and get. For the love of God, Currys are not doing online, I have no idea. So at the moment,
I've had a very different experience. In Farmerton, Tim Curry, the failed American actor, I say he's failed, he's just not that popular. He sells electronic hi-fi equipment consoles in the village.
Oh, wow.
So he calls himself Currys.
Ah, okay.
He did a pre-order.
Yep.
I didn't get it.
No. I thought you were going to say, yeah, I've got 2 coming.
No, I've sadly not, mate. Like you, I looked at the Argos thing and thought, nah, every time I've pre-ordered something, it's been from Amazon. They've been golden. Weren't on Amazon just out of intrigue and interest, I suppose, and found that you could apply for a raffle ticket to pre-order
there as well. Because I can't get to a Currys.
So I applied for the basic package. They said they'd let me know within 22 hours. I've heard nothing, so I guess I'm not getting one of those. And then yesterday, finally, they put up the Mario Kart World package, which I then also clicked for a raffle to see if I could be lucky enough to get one. And they can see from my account I'm not a scalper. And I've been there day one and bought loads of games, but only singular games. So I'm blatantly not a scalper. They know who the scalpers are, and I guarantee you they've already got 6 Switch pre-orders. It's going to be the same shenanigans, despite what they've...
Oh, it is. It is. Pre-orders are just... And once... pre-orders are always a nightmare anyway, but at least when there's a date of release, you can do it. But when companies are jumping the gun on stocks that they haven't received yet, you're like...
Yeah, the pre-orders works well for companies because it creates hype. Do I think Nintendo have got those rumoured stockpiles and you'll be able to walk into the same day that you're sat there going, bloody hell, mate, and just buy one on the shelf? I'm thinking there's a strong chance there probably will be.
Yeah, maybe.
What will the world look like in June? Who knows? Who can even afford for one of these things even then, right? So keep your powder dry, and we'll see how this goes. It's going nowhere, really, is it? Don't panic.
No,
if 6 months from now you finally get a Switch 2, fair play.
I was talking on Discord the other day, and I just said, after all this pre-order shenanigans, I was just like, seriously, modern gaming can be a money pit. And how this generation has gone, which I think is one of the worst generations, this gen. I think, it really disillusions you sometimes because you just think, I've got a Series X I haven't turned on for months. My PS5 hardly gets turned on at the moment. My console I play the most is my Switch. And even then, for a console which is not nowhere near touching the others graphically, you're still paying a premium on the games. I know games are still a good price.
You're paying more for the games, technically. You're paying more for the console.
Yeah, so... And I just thought the other day...
move, you're paying all that money for a console that's already dead.
But going on to that, just quickly change the subject a bit. Because of that, I said, shall I try giving up modern gaming for a year? We had a vote on the Discord and everyone has voted yes. So it's looking at the moment, I'm going to be 7th gen only for a year. 360, PS3. Let's see if I miss this generation. See if you can have a really good time, full of cheap, real good gaming experiences.
So you're not a pre-order in a Switch?
At the moment, I haven't got a pre-order in for a Switch 2.
So you're going to stop playing Xenoblade Chronicles when?
Hang on. I've said from May the 1st. They were going to do a vote on the generations. The only reason I haven't said yes to that is because I've only got the one screen at the minute because my shed isn't built, so I can't use the CRTs and everything to wire up old generations. So I've said
just go get your PSP, pal. You don't need any other machine. 7th
gen, 360, PS3, the Series X, PS5 in storage. Let's just go. see how I get on.
Let's get into it.
Yeah.
I'm
So,
excited for
a
this.
year.
This has all come from my gaming Lent idea that I lobbed around.
This is the original idea, and I've been thinking a long time because I've said I think the greatest thing about this generation is the DualSense. I think there's a big upgrade in how you play games, but I think as a whole, this gaming generation has been very weak. I think it's been very subdued, and I kept thinking how I loved my PS4 and the amount of games I bought for it and the amount of games I played. Do I love my PS5
It's
the
for
same?
the players.
No, I don't.
PS4 was for the players. PS5 was for Sony.
Yeah. 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 And I just think, do you know what? I don't know. I'm just disillusioned a bit with this generation. So that's why I put it on for a vote. And yeah, I think everyone said, yeah, go on, give it a go. See you get on. So
PS6 will be for the players.
Yeah, let's hope so. Let's hope so. Sorry, I've gone off on a tangent now.
No, you're all right. It's a rare occurrence. It's normally me ended up talking about mollusks on a ship's hull or something ridiculous like that mid-show. So let's get into it because we've got games coming at you. Get ready, RGT, because it's quite the dump. I think I'll do a dump and we'll come back to it. So some of these games are going to be upgrades, which are also free within the Essentials premium pack of the Nintendo Online package. But getting upgrades from Mario Kart Jamboree, Bowser Live for Rhythm Mode. Some of these we're going to get Breath of the Wild, and therefore what was the other one called?
Tears of the
Kingdom. Going to get upgrades. If you've got the premium online Nintendo Switch, they're free. If not, they're paid. Kirby and the Forgotten Land will also get a Nintendo Switch 2 edition, as will the aforementioned and soon-to-be launched Metroid Prime 4. Is going to get a Beyond Switch 2 edition. That looked lovely in play, RGT. Really lovely.
It did, yeah. I mean, I was even watching that on my phone and I thought, this is a step up. This looks good. It does really.
They're not wasting the horsepower on their own exclusives, that's for sure. They're using them to make them even more cute. And the extra animations and things that they're putting into these games now just make these things look incredible. Their exclusive titles, especially. Coming this summer, Pokemon Legends Z+A. It's coming this summer. New games. We've got Scott's put down Rocket League wheelchair game. I can't remember what that's called now, but that's the name.
Was that?
That's the one we use the mouse to push your
something
wheelchair.
And drive, was it? Oh, I can't remember now.
I don't know, but to me it looks like the ARMS version of the mouse showcase. The Elden Ring Tarnished edition, great to have that on the go. Not too sure about the graphical stability of that, but who cares? Hades 2 looks like they paid for exclusivity, which is a pretty shrewd move by Ninty. Finally, you're going to get Street Fighter 6 on there, and you're going to get Amiibos, so...
I've sort of fell in that hole a bit lately.
I just refuse to because it's
I've refused for years, and then this sudden wave of idea come over me saying, I wouldn't mind playing Breath of the Wild again all the way through, but how could I make it a bit easier this time? Or could I get a couple of Amiibos and just push forward? Then I ended up Googling best Amiibos for Breath of the Wild. Then I was trying to find them on eBay. Then I was on CEX buying them. There's a couple probably behind me you can see up there. And I just thought, and then I started thinking, oh, they look quite nice on the shelf. I do not need any more Nintendo models or accessories.
No.
I tell you what, you will be bathing in Amiibos by the end of the Switch 2 launch. You will be.
Mate, I've had a Switch this long and I did look at the Amiibos and I was like, no, mate, it's a flat no.
Don't do it. Even if you buy a game you really love, even if Farming Simulator 26 comes out with an Amiibo tractor that gives you an international or a case that you wanted.
Moving on. Game X Machina Titanic. Madden's finally making its way. Hogwarts Legacy relaunching. Hopefully that'll be the game that you wanted, not the game you ended up with. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4. Remake. Hitman World of Assassination Signature Edition. Great. Project 007 popped its head up, but like a true spy, disappeared again. I thought that was dead. It's alive.
Yeah.
Might as well be dead.
For what they've shown, it's
exactly.
nearly
dead. Excuse me.
Edit that out, Phil.
I'm allergic to Switch 2 news. Where are we? Square Enix with the Bravely Default Flying Fairy. Yakuza 0.
Can I just quickly jump in on that?
Yeah, get in.
That was a strange one because that Bravely Default was an old game. What was that, PS2 or GameCube game, something?
Probably something of that ilk, yeah.
Yeah. I know we'll get onto this, but that's nearly all. You need the card, but that's nearly all a download. You thought, surely that would fit on a card. Why have
panic, Handsome. We'll get there.
Yeah, that's an odd one. Sorry, carry on.
Yakuza 0 Director's Cut, which currently would be a Switch 2 exclusive, but has been confirmed by RGG Studio to be coming to other platforms as well, because we never got this Director's Cut, so it'd be interesting to see what's in it. New Zelda Tears of the Kingdom prequel. Well, it's the Hyrule Warriors version, Age of Imprisonment, which RGT informs me continues the story during Zelda's time-traveling shenanigans. So it's nice to see that all linked up. Again, if you like the Warriors games, Dynasty Warriors and all that sort of jazz, that's the sort of game you get in there. So
it's never been a game for me, but I thought we're showing that other side of the story of Tears of the Kingdom. That's give me a little bit of a tickle there to say.
That's how they catch your fat fish.
That is, and that's how they get a fat RGT as well.
Okay. Nintendo Switch 2 expansion pack gets, or the expansion pack gets some upgrades when the Switch 2 comes around. Yes, it's going to include GameCube, only on Switch 2 at launch, which is great news. So we're going to see things like Wind Waker and F-Zero X Online. The other good news is that with the extra power of the Switch 2, they're going to be upgrading some of the older ones. So on the N64 pack, you can't get a pixel screen filter, which is unfortunate because the N64 was built around the fact that you were going to play it on a CRT TV. And you know, they don't, the N64, you know, I don't really play my N64 on a CRT these days, so then it gets lashed up to something, plasma or something, which is just not appropriate. No. So it'd be nice to see that filter go on, and then maybe that's going to give us some of the anti-aliasing that we experienced on the N64 back in the day. So that's quite a clever thing to do. But in the meantime, they will also be adding it to the GameCube as well, so that's also great news. I was pretty impressed by the range of games that they displayed for the Switch 2 GameCube.
They show a lot, didn't they? Sure, I know there's a lot of sort of reports and remasters, but there's a lot there to sink your teeth into, which I think
absolutely.
You know, I was impressed. It was, same again. I saw a lot of people moaning, and I'm just like, why?
Here's another thing they didn't have to do, and may I just add, the price for the premium online expansion pass Nintendo package has not changed.
It is cheap for what you get.
And it is cheap for what you get. It's almost the same as 1 month's installment for the other gimmicks. So, yeah, you know, it really is pocket change.
Yeah.
So fair enough. Obviously, along with that, we're also going to get of course, we're going to get a Switch 2 GameCube controller, because why not, right?
But also just bear in mind the GameCube expansion will not be available on the original Switch.
No, and I think there needs to be a clear delineation. They need to give you something for upgrading, right?
Yeah, exactly. But just in case people didn't know that.
Why?
Yeah, exactly. So
that's Borderlands 4, if you're even remotely interested in that looter shooter anymore, fair play to you. Rock up and get that. Civilization 7 with mouse support.
That'll make that game a lot better to play. That, you know,
and Dicky probably getting a little bit sweaty, but not really, because the 2K WWE game's finally making its way back to the Switch. But the last one that was WWE 2K18 on the Switch 1, which is a diabolical mess. But we're also going to get newer versions of NBA 2K. Well, kind of, maybe.
Yeah, we'll see.
We've also saw such things pop up as Hollow Knight Silksong, 2 Point Museum, Wild Heart S, Witchbrook, Puyo Puyo Tetris, Marvel Comic Invasion. A great game to take on the go, may I add, Star Wars Outlaws. I'm going to play side by and play it. I was
impressed.
Again.
I mean, I haven't even played this.
Although, dude, Switch 2's impressive. But how the hell is that going to look on there?
Well, like I'm saying, I'm surprised it's gone on there. I didn't expect that game, but fair play. I mean, if it can do what they say it can
Fair
do,
play,
it'll run
old
on
boy.
there.
Fair play,
Yeah.
old bean. But what the hell?
Well, don't forget people play it in 1080p on a Steam Deck, so
They do.
know,
You're absolutely
you know,
right.
so
But docked 4K, really?
be marvelous if that was better than the PS5 port.
PS5 Pro. Also, also we saw Fast Fusion, Shadow Labyrinth, Reanimal. Don't panic because all those still play Fortnite on the Switch One. And little Johnny, I know, mate. Everyone's laughing about your graphics, but don't worry. You're about to slap him on the back of the legs with 60 frames per second Fortnite on your Switch 2. He was laughing now. They are still, but they're not laughing as much. Human Fall Flat, many, many more. I suppose while we're here, new AAA game from Software, Duskbloods. That looked pretty impressive.
I almost thought that was Bloodborne 2 when they.
Could have been a lot of things.
And I think it's is it multiplayer as well?
That's the main grip of it. It's multiplayer.
Yeah.
It's a vampire game set in London. Some would ask, what more would
good.
you like? Getting a new Kirby game, Air Riders, and then they finished on Donkey Kong Bonanza coming 17th of July.
Yeah.
So all within, although maybe only some games at launch, within what I would call the launch window, a real smorgasbord. If you've ever wondered what RGT laying down with a cheese board on a Nintendo Switch 2 camera would look like, it's going to look like the stack of games you're going to have at the end of the launch window.
Oh, yeah.
So, impressive stuff. Obviously, we've everyone's seen the Cyberpunk 2077 complete Director's Cut edition that's coming to Switch as well. You wait all day long for that to run on your current system. They don't get it working on there, but they're going to get a Switcher 3 version running on your Switch.
Yeah.
Which looked impressive at times and at times
it did look
also
good.
not, right? So, but you're taking it on the go. And I don't know whether we're seeing docked or handheld footage. None of us do really in this deep dive we've been given. But I suppose the place to really nestle, unless you want to talk in depth about some of these games, which are the majority ports, right, that we've already talked about and finished on this show. But we'll talk about the price. Sub 400 without a game.
Yeah.
Impressive.
I said originally when we spoke about this a few months ago, I said I thought that'd be around about the $449, the $450. I thought that'd be, but you're paying that with Mario Kart World. So if you just want to go in with the standard vanilla version, you can get it for under 400.
Standard
I think that's a good
version
deal.
and your Switch One library, some of which you'll get upgrades with your premium pack.
Yeah, it's true. Very true.
You're not getting nothing.
And if you got online, you've got your GameCube as well. So, yeah, I think it's a good price. Same again, I've seen a lot of people complaining about the price, but I think you just got to hang on, step back. They keep comparing it to the Switch. This is a lot more powerful than the Switch.
A hell of a lot more powerful.
Just look at what you're getting. Yeah, and look at what you're getting. Yes, I understand if you're in the States and these tariffs are hitting and it does go up again, yes, then it is expensive. But from the overall price or standard launch price, I think it's good.
Right now, and I don't see this changing because Ninty and Ninty, and I don't see this price ever going down, so they had to go out the gates quite strong because that's what Ninty do. But $299 from Argos, which is a UK seller, is going to get you an OLED Switch 1. Are you kidding me? This is a great price. This is a really great price.
Yeah.
For the tech that's involved, the improvements that have been bandied around. If you're already in the Switch ecosystem, the transition between the two consoles is going to be flawless.
Yes.
For the most part, flawless, right? So your old games in your library, you can pull back down. You can even use a Switch card in this thing. It's an evolution, not a revolution from Nintendo, and that's probably the thing that I find the oddest. If Nintendo were going true Nintendo, they'd have thrown all this in the bin and come at you with, I don't know, what looks like a dildo. But they chose not to do that. They actually kind of reinvigorated their old platform and gave us an iteration on something, which historically some people have argued, the SNES was an iteration on the NES. Not really, only the name.
Yeah,
This is the first time they've sequeled a console properly and called it 2.
And I think they had. We all know the Switch had us little four boils and it had us problems because of it was rushed out. The Wii U absolutely bombed. They needed something quick. They got it done in just a shorter time, but they got it out there, and it absolutely blew all the expectations.
And
now,
they applied that to the ergonomics, the form factor, the portability, the usability. All their usual magic went into making the Switch good, right?
Yeah, and but like I've said before, they now had this difficult second album because you've got something which is absolutely massive and popular and one of the greatest selling consoles of all time. Now, if you go and completely change that, you'll ruin it. If you go and don't hardly do any changes to it, you'll ruin it. You need to get it bang on. And for me, I didn't think they would, if I'm honest. I thought this was going to come out and be a hardly much of a step up, just like an OLED. And I didn't think that was going to be. But to be fair to them, I think they've nearly played this perfect, because what do we love about the Switch? We love it because it's a hybrid. We love it because we can play our big first-party games. We can pull it out of the dock and carry on playing them while you're sitting on the bus or on the train. You've still got that. What did we not like? Well, Joy-Cons were a bit uncomfortable. They were a bit small, and we could have done with a bit more horsepower. You've got that. We wanted a bigger screen. We've got that. We wanted 4K.
We've got that, but have we got enough for the Switch 2 to last as long as the Switch 1?
It depends, because everyone has always said how weak the Switch is, how underpowered the Switch is. Yeah, 120, 130 million consoles later.
On it.
Yeah, 120, 130 million consoles later, people are still buying them and people are still playing it. So, I think they'll be fine. I don't think they've got nothing to worry about. It's not so much. Yes, it's nice to have that more power, but it's still that portability. That's still nice. The only way, apart from if you've got a damn great Steam Deck in your bag, the only way to play Witcher 3 on the go is to have it on your Switch.
Or Steam.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But, are you going to carry a big old Steam Deck about, a portable PC? If you're a casual gamer, but you still want to play a big AAA game on the go, the Switch is the way to go.
Carrying the Steam Deck...
Steam Deck?
To call it what you like. We've had Pumpo Funks on here and the whole bag of tricks.
Yeah.
Carrying a Steam Deck around is a workout, which doesn't make any sense for gamers because we're not into that. So, it's a no. I know. Calm down, Bada Binkster. I love you still. You like hacking consoles. Steam Deck's perfect for you. I can't, which is why I ask you to hack my consoles. To me, listen, I'll tell you this. I watched that and I came away impressed. The form factor of it, the presentation of it, the consistent branding of Nintendo at the moment, its characters and its consoles and ecosystems was impressive. One thing that has not been talked away about that I did come away with, though, is they showed us some elements of the home screen going into the options menu and all that sort of stuff and putting it in 4K HDR mode. And my takeaway from that was, oh no, not these menus. Not like this, not again.
And I haven't said anything about the eShop. Please.
I'm just hoping the new Wi-Fi and the extra horsepower in the Switch will mean that thing pops and populates like it should. Yeah. Because at the minute, there's more loading than buying, and no shop sold anything like that.
If you use the eShop, all you hear all the time is bit-a-bit-a-bip, 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 bit-a-bit-a-bip.
That's just to get into it.
Yeah, just put it on the screen. Honestly, it's like you're waiting. Sometimes I swear I can hear it going, lots dialing up because it is that slow. Please, with the extra horsepower.
When you finally get in there, you go to current offers, which is the only section I implore anyone to go in. Don't buy games in any other section of the Switch store.
No,
buy them in the current offers section because you get some fair play to Nintendo. You do get some really good deals in there. Yes. We've highlighted a couple on the Discord recently.
They have some absolute bangers on games.
Really, really good. Really great deals. Some quality games. Hogwarts Legacy was 14 quid recently on there, compared to what
they even done like the last two Sherlock games. They had them like 24-hour off or whatever, like £3.49 and things like that.
Great deals. But part of me is like, hang on, is this next page that's loading going to be mobile games, or is it going to be one gem in there that's worth it? Literally one piece of art at a time? No, 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 maybe. Port from 360 or possibly original Xbox. No, 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 no,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
No, already bought it, played it a million times on other consoles. No, no, no. Oh, wow. My Cat Simulator 6000. Oh, okay. You've gone for artwork similar to Stray,
Yeah.
and the game's nothing like it. Okay.
What I tend to have done, I've made a big wish list now, and then Nintendo just email me when, oh, the game on your wish list is on offer now, and I'll go in, up, yep, that's 50,
That's the way to do it.
70% off.
Follow
and then,
RGT, don't
yeah,
ever follow
make
me.
a big wish list, and then Nintendo will let you know when it's on offer, and then you can just get it up on your phone, £3, buy it on your phone, and that'll be there on your Switch ready. So.
Well, that's that all
Yeah.
knocked into a cocked hat Switch 2 wise. So hopefully you guys, you've waited all week for this episode. Shame on you. You've waited, you've waited all this week for this episode. Shame on me. But hopefully it's shame on neither of us because we've covered it off. We've given you some professional insight into the things that we saw and where we think Nintendo will take this into the future. We've talked about how we're impressed. So if everybody else is going for the negative clicks, I'm not ashamed to say I came away very impressed, and I know.
I think at the end of the day, there's a lot of people who love to hate. I'm not saying everyone's doing that. Everyone has concerns, but at the end of the day, sometimes you just got to give credit where credit's due.
RGT wheel in, and this is for the YouTube users. Wheel in the UCP barometer. Here it is. Yeah,
I'll tell you what.
I bet you're glad you upgrade to the YouTube video now. This is what I say. If the OG Tom UCP barometer is burning off the scale for Switch 2, you're onto something.
Exactly.
If you think I'm jaded, you ain't listened to Series 1 yet.
He did go off a scale for the Wii U as well, but I won't say any more on that. But.
He went off the scale for the Wii U and dragged me on that same hype train.
Yes, he did.
He went off the scale
you for life.
He did, although I've still got one. And I collect for it. So who's the bigger fool?
You get that quiet.
Collecting into exclusives. And some other general ephemera.
So everything.
One absolute rogue. And I got hyped up with 3DS as well, and then basically got home and realised I was just playing handheld, the game I'd probably not long finished playing on the N64 when I got that out for a retro sesh. So, yeah, interesting. But this time, to me, they've nailed it.
I think so.
Yeah, clean form factor.
Truth will be in the plan, but I think they've. I'm very happy with what they've done. I didn't think they would go as far as they have with the 4K and bits and pieces. And yeah, they're done well. They've done well.
Really well. Let's wipe the slate clean. Let's wipe the decks clean. Obviously, we have some fun in the episode. It's probably not a standout, hilarious episode, but you be the judge of that, right? I will never say that we were funny. You decide that. But we've wiped the decks clean. We've done a nice thing there. We've done that Switch 2 analysis. We've enjoyed it. But now I want to dig to the bottom of my heart and thank every single person for listening. You're outstanding human beings as far as I'm concerned. Some of you have been here for every single minute and second of content we've ever put out. And to you, I applaud you. Thank you. You're the people that make us realise that getting up and recording this is worth it. And we hope you enjoy it, continue to enjoy it, because we're not going to stop. We've got some good news next week. This is the last episode of Season 5 before we can move to Season 6. That's going to come with new artwork, and we've blown the doors off it this time, RGT. We've gone and got some classy-looking artwork by a classy-looking individual, and we're very excited to unveil that. It's very in keeping with the show. It's very in keeping with the kind of spirit of the show.
Yep. Even
the lore to a certain degree. So, and all the members of the cast represented within it as well, which is also special. No OG Tom, but maybe he's hidden in the background as an Easter egg. Who knows?
It was more the licensing fee with OG Tom, though, and it was getting a bit expensive to have
and
his
his
image
gaming
in.
knowledge is right
So-
up. So he's got his hair being carried around in a wheelbarrow at the moment.
Yeah, that is. I mean, I've seen some big quiffs, but my God, that is impressive.
If you look very closely, there's a couple of field mouse surfing his wave.
Yeah, similar to sort of that Trump quiff, but just about 10 times bigger.
Yeah. It's more like a tsunami than a wave.
A tsunami quiff.
A tsunami quiff, yeah. Absolutely.
T-shirt idea.
Absolutely. Sort of thing that makes the Brill cream shelf in Tesco's crap itself. So you wipe out a whole village, one Brill cream village in one. Just expose it to the front forelock of Tom, OG Tom. Where were we before we went down that road? The new artwork. Jesus Christ.
Yes.
No wonder no one ever takes this show seriously.
Yeah.
The new artwork
good.
we're very excited about. We're
It's
going to
very
spend
good.
the whole episode unveiling that. So it might be if you're a podcast listener, audio, you'll see it staring back at you as soon as the episode starts. We've also got some new YouTube. Why am I talking like this? It's like 2 or 3 times I've stumbled. We've got the new YouTube intro for the videos that we'll be using from next week. And the artwork will be everywhere. The Discord will be rebranded. All the socials will as well. Why does this mean anything to me, George? Well, I'll tell you why it means something for you, because you're now going to have some new artwork looking back at you in your car or on your iPod as you go for your walk or your drive, and we're here to keep you company on that. It's one of the reasons why we do an episode every single week without fail, so you've got your friends with you. No matter what's coming up for you that week, you can turn to your friends at the UCP, and they'll have give you something. They'll give you this audio/visual hug to get you through the next week. But not only that, if you are one of the amazing people that contribute to the show financially, I always say you don't need to. It will always be free. But when you do, we super appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, part of your package means you're going to get a physical embodiment of this artwork for yourself. RGT, now would be a great time for you to quickly run through the tiers and the pricing, sir. I shall fill for time. Because I just want to say before we get into all that, and it feels a little bit businessy, and we're not really into it, but there's sadly no other way around it. If you're in the cheap seats right now, it's the perfect time to lob in the smallest amount if you want to and get some of the goodness that's about to be explained by RGT. The minimum one is $3, $3 American dollars a month. And based on what's going on at the minute, that's probably less than 6 pence or €6. So it's a great time to get on board. It's a great price. I mean, I would probably tell you if you do want to get on board, probably get on at $5 or something. But either way, we never say you have to. RGT,
Right.
What are these tiers?
Right, so $3 you get read out on every show, which you will hear in a moment. Then we've got access to an Unglorious Chat, which is a little private chat section for the subscribers in our Discord. But by all means, the rest of the Discord is free. Just give it a little bit extra. And we also do the quarterly Zoom meetup, which you would have heard, or you will watch from what we recorded last week, which was a great show. Really
Video
enjoyed
up soon.
that.
Yeah, video
up soon.
Should be up by the time you hear this.
Yeah, so that's great fun. We basically, because we changed the tiers up because we had a bit different to that, but I wanted those 3 from the very minimum. So everyone's included in the Unglorious Chat and everyone is included with the Zoom meetup.
Nice.
And then for $5,
And
you get...
let's just position this correctly, RGT, because that was a top tier unlock before.
Yes.
And now we've taken that high value unlock and we've moved it all the way down to tier 1.
Yeah. And then basically the idea of that is that you always, whatever tier you're in, you'll always have access to those 3. And then you just get a little bit of extra merch on top for each level you're at. Which takes me on to the $5, which is read out in every show. Access to an Unglorious Chat, quarterly Zoom meetup, and then you get a small item of yearly art merch, which what we've normally done is a fridge magnet, which we will be hopefully doing again this year.
RGT, don't sell it short because it's a piece. It's a wooden fridge magnet.
Right? It is a wooden fridge
from
magnet
the Wooden Postcard Company.
Yeah.
Now they're a premier retailer.
Yep.
They even have products in London tourist
Yeah,
spots,
museums.
museums,
They
Windsor Castle.
supply. Oh, they supply right out to Yellowstone Park. They go. They supply to Japan. They supply to Australia. They literally have licenses for Scottish Museum, anything. So
So we're not
they're
mucking around.
no.
For $5, not even pounds,
Yep.
you're getting all that previously mentioned stuff and a wooden fridge magnet with the new
Yep.
album art on it.
Yep.
If you're into collecting, and if you're listening to this show, you probably are. You can't really have a fridge without all the latest album art on it now, can you?
No. And then we go to $8, which again is read out in every show, access to Unglorious Chat, quarterly Zoom meetup, small item of yearly art merch / which will probably be fridge magnet, and then you also get a yearly art merch mug. So you will gain a lovely
Wow. So
mug
when you go
with
to
our
the
mugs on
fridge
it.
for your brew and look
Yep.
at the fridge magnet, you then open the door, get out your milk, oat, yak, dog. Actually, it's very nutritious. And I do believe RGT has the longest shelf life of any milk.
It does, because that's the reason it lasts so long, is because no bugger will drink it.
Everybody's
Quote the
dead,
line.
Dave.
If anyone know that line. But yes,
And you decant that then into your UCP mug.
Yep.
Brilliant.
And then your $10 tier, same again, read out in every show, access to Unglorious Chat, quarterly Zoom meetup, small item of yearly art merch, your yearly art merch mug, and a yearly art merch T-shirt. And I know I keep saying this, and you're
Put me
probably sick of hearing
backwards.
it.
That's one hell of a good deal.
It's a good deal, but also these T-shirts are going to look superb because the artwork we've had done is going to pop. It's going to look good. So I'm
White
not
or
just saying it
black?
trying
Are we
to
giving
sell
them a
it to you.
choice, or
Yes, we will give them a choice. It's no problem for us merch wise. If you want a white or a black one, whatever your preference is. When I
if
send out the
we're gonna
messages,
do? Let me lob it out there. If we're doing a merch run, do you want to offer up the chance for people to get, in addition, some extra? Because obviously we've got the download section of the show.
yes.
So if you join the Discord for free, and I'm not, I advocate if you want to do this, knock yourself out. You can go grab this imagery if you're in a country that we can't post to, and we've so far been able to post to every single country. But let's say you're listening in one of the further reach countries, like one of the African countries that we're often listened to, and you want to get yourself a T-shirt, message me or RGT, and we'll make sure you can get the highest resed image that we've got, and you can get that done locally.
Yes, join the Discord. Basically, go in general nonsense section. Just tag me in RGT. Can I have a T-shirt? Then I will message you, DM you. So then we become friends. We can DM each other, and then I will just go through the process of getting your size and bits and pieces
Nice.
and address. So,
because we've also got legacy artwork, is what I'm thinking. And if you're new to the show and you want to get on board with a UCP Mark 1 T-shirt, Mark 2, some of the other art that we've had done, we don't have a shop per se. We try and keep it current, don't we, with the latest artwork?
yeah. But what I can do when I send out, because all you guys in the next couple of weeks will be getting your messages to say the new art run is now live. I need your size and whether you want a white or black T-shirt. But I will put a little thing in of what other options we can offer and what price, if you wanted an extra T-shirt, would be. So
Yeah,
if you wanted, your T-shirt that you're entitled to, but you also think, I wouldn't mind a Longhorn T-shirt, or I wouldn't mind
that Longhorn in the cupboard is absolutely banging.
yeah.
I've
So
got one of those.
we still have the
I
artwork
love
for
it
that.
so
Yeah.
much.
So we can still produce those, and we do them at a very reasonable cost for the quality of the T-shirt. So I can add 2 orders if you want for a very small outlay.
Nice.
So
Okay.
yeah. All right.
So I interrupted once again, but some great tiers there. Some, and to be honest with you, inconsequential money. $3 or $5. $5 seems like the great tier because you're going to get some artwork there that you can keep, plus all the other stuff. If you creep further up, it's mug, T-shirt, and I'll be honest with you, some of this UCP merch, it's an investment piece, right? Very limited runs, very
limited,
small amount. The show's growing in popularity week after week. If you want to represent the show, and God damn you, you ought to Get yourself one of these T-shirts and walk around your local area. It's basically like a sandwich board for the show, but you look cool, and it costs less than you would have spent in Primark.
Yeah. And also, because obviously we're changing the artwork, we'll be having a new run of our side of things, which is business cards and flyers. If you've got a local game shop, just message me, say, can I have a few flyers for the local game shop? I'll post you some flyers out, because we found that's a great way of doing it. It's a great way of spreading the podcast. So, yeah, if you know any shops that would be happy enough to take our flyers in, let us know and I can send a few out, because we're getting all new artwork done for everything. So, yeah, just
Feed the birds, tuppence a bag, RGT.
Yep, that is the way.
Feed the show hosts, £3 a bag. £3, £3 a bag.
I wondered how long before you burst into song.
Feed the hosts, £3 a bag. £3, £3.
You done?
Yeah, I think we should probably go.
Got out of your system, yeah. Okay, got out of the system, good. Anywho, Phil, another one, cut that out.
Leave it in, Phil. If you know what's good for you, mate, you're sacked if you touch it.
Oh, and thanks again to Speedy Wheels today for driving along the street with his window down.
Hang on a minute, Speedy Wheels. If
Yes.
anybody needs a t-shirt and a mug, pal.
Yeah. Yeah, he needs a t-shirt and a mug. But yes, he did drive past me with the window down today, shouting, "Hey, that's my good mate Rimgard." So
Excellent.
that's
worth diving into the back catalogue to find the backstory of why you're called Rimgard, Thomas.
Yeah, great, isn't it?
What did I say? I came up with a much better one that RGT stood for the other day, and you've purposely made me forget because it was...
I've purposely forgot myself, I think, because
good.
I'm still on the full out with Rimgard, so I don't really know if I want to drag it down any lower. But
well,
anywho, right,
jump on the Discord and come up with new ideas of what RGT stands for.
Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, marvellous. That's going to be 18 plus.
Knock yourself out, do some artwork if you feel it helps. Let's get stuck into our wonderful supporters. So we've talked about everything everybody can earn from being a supporter on the show. And most of all, you're helping us put this show out. It's by no means cheap. We've got it listed everywhere. We hopefully the quality and everything is exemplary of what we're trying to put out and support you day to day. So it's not free. So everyone that helps us just suddenly makes it a hell of a lot easier for not only us, but all the people listening. All the people listening in the cheap seats need to stand up and salute these people.
Yep. It's a lot of, I say to people before, there's a lot of hidden costs with a podcast that people don't realise. And this, for all these people, you make this so much easier.
Let me tell you now, it's barely a break-even enterprise.
Yeah.
So Lord Ponsonbury's credit card's still getting absolutely smashed, but every little helps. We're definitely grateful. So, to start with, people think the most incredible person to ever come out of Sweden was ABBA. They were mistaken. They thought it was the guy who invented IKEA. They were mistaken. They thought it was PewDiePie. They were mistaken. The real Messiah, straight out of Sweden, is our beloved Ceenox. Thank you, sir, for contributing and everything that you do to help us put the show out.
Without doubt. And then we have the one man fan club of George.
Good. I'm glad
It
you got
is
it in there.
the absolute beautiful legend that is Carlos.
Carlos, you're everything I ever wanted you to be. You're handsome, you're intelligent, yet you're still a fan.
I could talk to him about Sega Saturn shooters or Japanese import Neo Geo RPG.
He's a bit too good looking for the show, and he's also a bit too classy and cool. He's a bit like Tingle Tuner, if I'm being honest with you. For all our subscribers, really, I suppose. Thank you, Carlos, for you, sir. You're a great man, and you actually decided to adopt the moniker, which no one else would pick up, which is the One Man George fan club.
And was on them And also jumped onto our show last week with us, which was brilliant. Our subscriber show.
Thank you to each and every one of you. As I say, not quite sure what happened in the upload, but we need to. It will be out by the end of the weekend. If you're listening to this and it's Monday, it's already there. Don't panic. Although I've put the pressure on myself now. Who's next? I'm next, and that means I get another handsome devil. In fact, we're very lucky that everyone in our thing is either handsome or very beautiful.
Yeah. Well, if you compare them to me, that's not too hard, really, is it?
Surrounded ourselves by these angels. Wonderful. One of those angels, sending from the skies, is Firm Returns. Got to say thank you to you, sir, and again for your involvement in the community and everything that you've been doing.
Another one who jumped on last week was brilliant. It was great fun.
I want to see some new faces. If you're listening and you're into this, and I know there's so many of you that do, I'm not asking you to pay. Jump on the Discord, though, or engage with us so I can say thank you in person because I mean it. I'm very grateful for you.
Yeah, it's a great little community on there. Just jump in, say hi, and before you know it, you'll be chatting games with various different people on there and people you've probably read out.
Maybe you've got bigger biceps and Ginge. You want to prove it?
God, I don't believe it. There's no such thing.
Thousands of people.
He could crush a Fiesta between one of them. Absolutely unbelievable.
The porn magazine or the Ford car?
Oh no, the car.
I was going to say crushing a magazine is actually quite difficult.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about a Ford Fiesta. Yeah, Mark II. Popular.
Oh wow.
Then next up we have Trestles of New York, long time supporter of the show. So thank you.
Everybody stand up, sir.
He's off.
Salute Italian flag, national anthem, sir. Everybody sit down, sir. And to all our Italian listeners, tante belle cose, stammi bene. Grazie mille.
I was about to say that.
Prego.
Thank you.
Di nulla. I'm done.
I was just waiting for you because you skipped Adam, so I was just waiting to see if you finished.
Listen, we're engaging people in different languages, so
yes,
just give it a minute.
I know. Okay. Right, you done? Right, next up we have the gorgeous Tingle Tuna, who I have sponsored this week. So well done on your raising money there, young man. Absolutely fantastic, and for a great cause. So well done, I will say, and thank you for the support of the show as always.
Discord's a bit C:// to me, so I don't really know what I'm doing. I just mildly mill from one section to the next. But so I don't exactly know what that's about. But I'm no doubt it was a sponsored eating competition or something, so it was in the culinary delights area.
No, he's got to run a total of I don't know, is it 60 kilometres or something? So he's got to do a certain amount each day before work, and he's doing.
Would it help if I chased?
For probably, he'd get it done in one go.
Why did we write all you the lines now?
Oh, well, there we go. So he's doing it for prostate cancer. So, yeah, very well done. That's a cause close to my heart.
Fair play to you, bud. That's
well done. Well done, mate.
I'm not going to say it's an illness that's overlooked, but it doesn't get the headline. So any extra funding you can get for that is very much appreciated. Well done to you for that, sir. Which means I get next the Deputy Discord, Digital Monkery. Thank you, sir, for all that you do. I see that you're ready to announce. Were ready to announce by the time you've heard this. You've probably already been announced. The photo competition was brought to a close this month after I got involved and ruined it. Ended up being Nip Slip. So another reason to go visit the Discord.
It wasn't Nip Slip. It was revealed. But anyway, you wanted it to be Nip Slip, but
it rapidly, very quickly became Nip Slip.
It did. You did manage to.
If you don't know where to find pictures of pixelated boobs anywhere else on the internet, join our Discord.
Yeah, we did sell it as quite a classy place. You're dragging that down quick.
We've tried every other angle.
Yeah, well, haven't we just? Next up, we have the wonderful Gaming Graham. Thank you very much, as always, young man.
Which means I get to go on the non-grip slipped skateboard, aka Bold Border.
Then we have Gun brand. Boba Loba. Did you like that?
No.
Why? Why? I've done it just for you.
I know you did.
Practicing this for 2 weeks.
Now I've seen it vicariously. It's a little bit dirty. I don't know if
I do get carried away. I got carried away with a fat Zangief last week, and I think it was.
I just don't know how we go from someone in the battlefield deploying their night vision and going brown to you doing it as almost as though it's some sort of foreplay.
Steady. Woe back, son. Woe back.
Why am I woeing back?
Last week with Fat Zangief, there was a comment just saying it was quite funny because obviously we were on a video call where I did say to him, look into my eyes.
Oh, that's what. Oh,
yeah.
God.
So,
I don't know who's going to end up with what yet. So
I think whoever starts gets it. So I think it might be you. But anyway.
Something I'm looking forward to.
Yeah. You're next then.
So as I've said before, there's lots of men out there, right? But there's only some men that would take on a red-headed stepson. And I'm proud to. The guy's an absolute legend. He's not only a great father himself, but he's one hell of a good-looking guy.
Mm-hmm.
And his muscles...
Jeez.
Mate, unbelievable. He's the sort of guy that makes Arnold Schwarzenegger take weights off.
Ripped.
Absolute animal. Which means, did I say his name was Ginge?
No, but you just did.
That's how they do it on local radio.
Yep.
Who's next?
We have the Lord of Darkness himself. And had done a wonderful job of our artwork and bits and pieces. Absolute legend.
A pre-reveal.
We've already said that the other week, so you might need to remember.
Did I?
Yeah, you did, yeah. So
that really was a nip slip. Okay.
Yeah. But Harvey Retro, thank you again. Absolutely brilliant.
Great man. Been supporting the show for the longest time and also puts money in, which is just outstandingly generous. So thank you very much. Which I get to confirm Ember Shop no longer on the apps, but also packing, ready for the release of the new T-shirt, so she can take the latest piece of artwork on a world tour. Apparently she's going to get a snap outside the Leaning Tower of Pisa, a snap inside the Colosseum, a snap inside of Mykonos in Greece, up on the hill there as well. Also taking it to southern Spain, the French Riviera. Also going to get some pictures of her wearing it on the northern African coast, Egypt, and even a danger shot in Syria. So I'm all ears and can't wait to get those T-shirts dispatched so we can have an Alan Wicker-like journey through the medium of the UCP merch and the globe-trotting Emma Sharp. Thank you for everything you do.
Now, I've known you quite a while now, but for some reason I think you might have just made all that up.
You don't know what's going on in mine and Emma's DMs. So just
No, I don't, but I mean, I was actually speaking to her today and she never mentioned a world tour.
Only because I asked her to keep it low-key until I had announced it on the show.
Okay. I'll ask her on Monday.
She only listens to the episode she's on anyway.
Okay. Next up, we have, we know where he isn't, and it isn't nowhere near Berlin. It is the wonderful Greg, who, as I've said the last couple of weeks, is probably very busy at the moment with Forever Skies coming to console. And
here's an idea of the level of caliber people. We've got a genuine, big-time Forever Skies, a game that's been plastered on everybody's dashboards for months, for weeks. Get on board if you don't know what it's about. We implore you. Nowhere Near Berlin is involved in that. And yet, he's got enough spare IQ to not only throw money at the show, also listen. He listens to the episodes he's on as well.
Yep. Yes, he does.
It's one of the reasons why we read him out. Get that listenership right up.
Yep.
Which means I get... Thank you, Greg, by the way, and thank you, everyone. I know we have a bit of fun at your insistence, but I don't want anyone listening in cheap seats thinking we're taking a piss.
No.
We are. We're not in that way.
Yeah, we really appreciate it.
Up next is our beloved coverall mother, Mumsy. We've all got different dads, but we've all got the same mum.
Yeah. Thank you, Mumsy. Then we've got the only fan club. It's the RGT fan club.
Jesus
Thanks to every single one of you. I'd love to read you all out, but the show would be 10 hours long. So thank you as a collective.
Okay. Next up is a man that plays Keepy Uppies with anvils. It's Pete Brocklehurst.
What a legend. You wouldn't want to upset him, but what a legend.
Well, you don't want a knee off him. His upper body's emaciated, but he's got really strong legs.
Oh, he's got thighs like an elephant. I mean, if we have a live show, he's on the door with Ginge. Him and Ginger on the door.
Yeah.
Yeah. One's got the guns, one's got the thighs. There you go.
Yeah, I like that. Again, I hate to go back to this, but they're almost like Master Blaster. I love how that's your trigger. I love how that is your trigger.
And the thing is, I could just say it when you said Master Blaster as well. I knew exactly who I was, and I knew exactly who you were before you even said it. That is, oh my god! I would never want to dress up as Master Blaster, but for some reason, it works, and it would.
I did myself real dirty as well, so don't think it was I got off scot-free.
It's just brilliant. No, I don't. I just think it's brilliant.
You're just bigger and stronger than me. That's a fact.
I saw a bit of a clip on YouTube of him the other day and just absolutely wet myself in the living room on my own because straight away I just thought of your suggestion that we go to a fancy dress parties, Master Blaster from Mad Max. Absolutely brilliant.
Master Blaster runs the podcast.
Anywho, next we've got Billy Marmite, legendary name and a brilliant person. Thank you very much, Billy.
Is this right? Oh wow! I want fat Zangief though. I want Zangief.
Okay, well I'll go straight on then and do Simon Pryke. Thank you very much, Simon. Another long-term supporter, and also actually won a competition when we were at OLL a few years ago. Yeah.
Simon Pryke. He transforms into a bike, used by Bradley Wiggins to win the Olympics. So who won it? Simon Pryke transforming into a bike, or was it the man doing the pedals? Because something makes me think that Simon Pryke needs a hell of a lot more recognition than he's getting right now, RGT.
Wow, that was just like a fever dream. I do not know what happened.
In a way as well, I went off into like a fever dream-like place.
Yeah.
Well,
I actually thought I dozed off then and had a dream.
I was in a velodrome, and he literally just sort of, I don't know where he pulled the steering wheel from. No. The road wheel from, right? Two of them. And he kind of clasped it there, clasped it between his feet, and Bradley just got on his back and rode him to Olympic glory.
Optimus bike. And then just rode the hell out of him.
He'll never walk again.
Not when Bradley's been having a go on you.
Wow. Let's get this wrapped up.
Anyway, you give it the full Zangief. Oh my god. Jeez. This is you're big on my screen.
He wanted it face to face. He's got it. Imagine someone's watching this on like a bloody 100-inch plasma or something. You don't. Let's get it over and done with.
Then they're going to be going, quick kids, don't watch that. Turn it off.
Fat.
Oh my god. Yes. Phil, you might have to edit that.
I think it will top it out anyway on the recording. I don't think Phil will have to get involved. I think it will minimise it.
We might need to put an age certificate on this because it's
I tell you what, I don't know if I'm going to be able to put this out because in the edit I'm going to see like a full screen version of me on the editing suite.
Have you just seen what I've seen? That's. Do you know the weird thing was? I felt so low and I felt so low and dirty, but for some reason I couldn't stop watching. I wanted to look away, but I was sort of.
It's a bit like that time you took Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome to the bathroom for longer than the running time.
Yeah, and that was a long stint.
Master Blaster watches himself.
My God, that's everyone gone. That's the last listener switched off.
Well, if they're gone, they can't hear me say thank you. And to each and every one of you, whether you've been in that immortal list of legends that helps us every single week, and then during the week on the Discord by keeping the community alive, interacting with each other, talking at length about all the things you've been up to in your gaming lives. Literally couldn't do it without you. So, yeah, if you want to step up and take yourself out the free seats while still not paying anything, just join the Discord.
Yep.
Easy peasy. To anyone that's listened to this show before, they know that I can't get on with the rest of my day, nor can you, nor can they, until I ask you what you're hoping to play.
I think we'll probably guess what one of them is, which will be obviously Xenoblade. There'll be loads more, so I shan't go into too much of that. Definitely going to be playing some more Indie Heroes 4, some more games I want to test out on there. Plus, what I forgot to mention in what I've been playing is there was a show you weren't on, but Mrs. RGT had started Firewatch. It's about halfway through. Yeah, because you weren't on it. So... Oh, the old ones are the best.
Poisonous slime's never been fed to me before, but I tell you what, it was difficult to swallow and even
eat
hard
that,
to
Jada
digest.
George.
Yeah, yum.
But yeah, she started Firewatch, so hopefully as a recorder, maybe tonight we'll try and get that finished. But she's been thoroughly enjoying that, and I've been sitting there as a wingman just in case there's any problems with the controls. But she hasn't. She's taken it to a duck to water, and she's been loving it. So, and playing through Firewatch again is. Oh, it's a lovely game. So I've been enjoying that, playing that. So hey, hopefully get that finished tonight. And one game I still haven't started on my Evercade, which I'd like to do with Mrs. RGT after Firewatch, is the Broken Sword 1 and 2 on the Evercade. So hopefully
I still need to get that for PS1. If you're listening and you've got a double, hit me up.
Yes, sorry, I was going to check my doubles. I haven't. I will check my doubles.
Spend the whole weekend down the shed tomorrow. Find it.
I haven't got a shed. I've got a lockup, but I'll. I can't remember if it's the first one or
swat.
The second one. Your language is appalling this week. Jeez.
We're in the Attitude Era now.
God, are we? Bloody hell. Yeah, so anyway, that's what I'm playing. What are you playing? No, and Jaded George, you'll be Leisure Suit Larry, you'll be...
Leisure Suit Larry.
Centerfold Squares.
Centerfold Squares, yeah. All while eating a blackberry pie from the garage and a copy of the Sunday Sport.
Wow, there you go. And what else you playing?
Farming Simulator 25.
Yes.
We're pro gamers here, so this is the place to come for your Fortnite tips, your Minecraft building techniques,
and how to plough a field and sow corn.
Plough something. Yeah, a bit more FS25. We'll need to get that harvesting. See how that works out for me. If anyone's listening, they've got. I need an FS pal. So if you're on the edges, get in the DMs. So yeah, a bit of that going on. Probably a bit of Wrestling Empire. There's some things that are always permanently in play. And that's about it. I got an urge the other day to maybe start a playthrough of Final Fantasy X. I don't know why I did this. But,
really?
Yeah, it's been a while.
What's the last one you blasted through? Final Fantasy 13, was it? I remember you doing that to PS3, didn't you?
Yeah, that was probably the last time on air that I've blasted through. X is a pretty cool game, dude. So yeah,
is that the one they split into two? Did you get two?
There's a sequel, isn't there? X2, which is
X2.
It's almost like X Factor, but with the girls of X in it. If you know, you know. Yeah, X is probably where it's at. It's a bit like, for me, 13 is a great game, and the spin-offs, X2, 13-2, and is the other one Lightning Returns? I think it is. Yeah. I know. Oh, Lightning Returns. Get a grip of yourself. Final Fantasy 13 is the bee's knees. Get on board with it.
Wow, this Jaded George, he takes no prisoners at the minute.
Yeah, you're right. I feel a bit guilty now because I'm actually a nice guy, and I'm finding this Jaded George routine actually one of the hardest things I've ever pulled off on the show.
Don't know. It seems to be getting more natural each week.
Fuck you.
Phil, we're going to have to re-record the whole episode now.
We ain't got enough subs to edit all this out, so it's staying in. if you want to keep the show PG, you get on board. No, I don't.
Yeah.
Is that
PG.
Look, we could have gone down some serious routes there, and we stopped. We tickled it, but we didn't.
Yeah, we skirted round it.
We didn't mess around with the beef jerky. We just skirted round it. I didn't say curtains.
Anyway, what are you? Anything else you're going to play? Jeez, yeah. We're going to owe you a fortune.
All these jokes are in the PG era, so I don't know why you're coming at me now.
Come on, what else are you playing?
Well, I'm back at Farmerton Manor, so I probably ought to carry on with my True Crime Streets of New York playthrough.
Yeah.
But I'm probably this evening just going to watch my PS5 Pro melt itself playing a PS4 copy of Sims 4, if I'm honest with you. Because it's whoever blinks first, and I blinked and came in to record the show, which means I'm going to be on. I'm going to be playing Resident Empire, aren't I, this evening?
Yes.
Because you can't port. If I turn the portal on, I'll just get to watch on a secondary screen Sims 4.
Oh, joy.
You wanted this, George. You wanted it.
Yeah.
So that's that. So with all said and done, RGT, I think that draws us to an end of the episode. As always, we're very, very, very grateful for everybody that listens. We're even more grateful when you go the next level and you interact with the show. And if you want to go further than that and become a full UCP addict, well, we've already bored you half to tears with how that happens. That's all we have time for this week, listeners. As always, thank you for your time. Look forward to the pleasure of speaking to you again next week. Until then, happy gaming. Remember, there's nothing wrong with being given the unofficial controller. It's a what you do with it that counts, sir. See you later, RGT.
Later.